Welcome back to CounterSurveil, your favorite dimly lit digital speakeasy, where the bar's always open, the secrets flow like whiskey, and the only thing more cracked than our tinfoil hats are the eggs in tonight's basket. I'm your gravel-throated guide through the back alleys of InfoSec, and tonight, we've got a proper Easter treat for you. Returning to the booth is none other than YOLK'S, that beautifully unfiltered voice in the wind, and we're peeling back the foil on one particularly suspicious chocolate bunny. Beneath the shiny wrapper, a well-known and widely respected security certification body that's been laying some questionable eggs lately. No spoilers, yet, but let's just say, this ain't your average Sunday sermon. So grab your bonnet, toss back a shot of jelly bean gin, and well, prepare yourself. Because tonight, we're not just following the rabbit, we're grilling it. This rabbit hole's darker than a data center in a blackout, and we're diving in headfirst with no flashlight and a basket full of uncomfortable questions. Will we find redemption, or just more fluff-filled nonsense wrapped in hollow promises? Either way, happy bloody Easter. Let's open this egg, see what's rotting inside, and, scramble some sacred cows while we're at it. This is CounterSurveil.
Hello and welcome to a special Saturday episode of the CounterSurveil podcast. I am here with my co-hosts Sledge and CrowdStrong and returning special guest YOLK'S. This week we're going to be covering a controversy that's been going on with one of the top training bodies out there that in terms of reputation so far has been pretty stellar. That would be TCM, the Cyber Mentor. And I've been hearing a lot of different things from different people about what's going on here. There's definitely some social media posts about this whole drama, and there's obviously going to be more than one side to any story. But while we wait for Futaba to get his mic and everything set up properly, I'm going to show you some of the stuff that I've come across that can kind of maybe shed some light on this for those of you who are uninitiated to this particular drama. So starting off, we have this here. Just to understand the situation, there will be no zero statements by TCM staff on the banning and cert removal of several people on the last day. It's the banning people school too. Statement on the situation would be better. We have this, somebody who was banned for talking about said drama. And then context there. Is there a reason why instead of commenting on concerns within your community, you're simply banning people? Are you able to state this ban was related to academic dishonesty? We've got this from Heath, the actual cyber mentor himself. Today brings a good lesson in doing research into what information is being presented to you, the facts around it, and the source of the information. We did not ban someone over a meme. In what world is that even plausible? Certification revocation is something we take extremely seriously. It's only done in rare and severe cases. In this situation, the students' actions were reviewed thoroughly by our ethics and legal team. The decision to revoke certification was unanimous based on documented behavior, not emotion. While we don't discuss individual students' matters publicly, we can confidently say that no ban is ever made on a whim. These situations involve careful deliberation and in most cases, multiple opportunities for the student to take corrective action before an action is taken. You're absolutely free to post memes and express your opinions on this. Then we have laughing. He blocked me on LinkedIn. Blasted
Hey, Hammer.
on Twitter too.
Hammer.
Is he there? Yes.
Hey, let's stop for a minute and let Fatuba get all linked up.
Yeah, that's what I've been waiting for.
So, hey, CrowdStrong, how is the lighthouse?
Excellent. We won't
Are
go
you
into
delighted?
we are running around on an island is most enjoyable as always.
Cheers, man.
One of these days, I'll go traveling some more again.
Come on, it's a wonderful place to be.
Dude,
But
Oregon's beautiful. I lived there for a little bit.
How's y'all's week?
Relaxing.
Mostly
I
relaxing.
found out that there's a law to where I was not allowed to work past noon on Friday, and I was like, oh, okay. That sucks. Next week is going to suck. I had a lot of work to do.
Who knew Good Friday was a federal holiday? It's not.
In 12 states.
I mean, I didn't have any issues working on Friday, and I work for a private company. However, we run on federal holidays, so that's strange because I definitely work to 6 o'clock on Friday.
Then my company gave us off 2 o'clock in the afternoon Eastern time, so I was out of work by 12, which is kind of cool.
No dice here. No dice here.
It's like
Hey.
normally I'd be like, sweet, time off, but no, you're not getting paid. And then there's a lot more work to do now. So, God, damn it.
That's what happens. That's what happens. Completely off topic, but completely interesting to me. I have just tried for the first time in my life Jameson and Mountain Dew. Can confirm is excellent. Give it a go.
Can also confirm it's pretty good.
I don't usually
I have
drink.
not tried Jameson and Mountain Dew, but it does sound interesting.
It is very good. I can confirm.
My go-to tends to be vodka Red Bull.
Yep, that's about right. That or I like Maker's Mark and Coke. Shout out to Phil Lopez. He got me. One of my mentors got me hooked on that when I was back when I lived up in Charlotte back in the day. And that's what I'll go and get in a bar. But I've never tried Jameson and Mountain Dew. I had it recommended to me by Reddit. Actually, I was doing some research trying to figure out what went good with Jameson because I had an amalgamation of Jameson at my disposal, and I was like, that's a grand idea. We'll try that.
I would always do vodka, Mountain Dew, and then screwdrivers because with the screwdriver, it's orange juice. So that means it's healthy, right?
No. No. It doesn't work that way. So,
do we want to wing this?
I don't actually know what's going on here. I haven't had the opportunity to actually take a look into this, but it sounds like something wicked this way comes.
Yeah, so I can give a TLDR, but I definitely want Futaba to give us.
Yeah,
he's
You'll hear me interrupt you for a sec once I'm ready to start.
Okay.
Sure.
We can
So
stall.
from my understanding, what happened is there's a member of their Discord who also has some certifications from them who was trolling a bit too hard in the Discord and not only got banned from the Discord, but they also took his certs. And then he went to Twitter and LinkedIn and was posting about it and then got blocked by Heath, Cyber Mentor guy. But I'm sure there's a lot more to it. So you probably know a lot more, Futaba, which is why we got you here again. That, and you're also pretty elite, so it's nice to have you back. So why don't you give us some skinny?
Okay. I'm ready to start talking now. Give me a second. Okay, I'm ready. So basically, like you said before, tonight's podcast is going to be covering a topic on what's been going on with the whole revoke situation with TCM, their stance, the truth on the matter, some suspicions, and a lot more. So for starters, the biggest accusation right now is a student got their TCM, their official TCM certifications that they paid for, they tested for, they got certified for. They had all that taken away from them, apparently because of a meme. Like you said before, there was a whole Twitter post that went viral, like over 330-something K views, and it still spreads even when people like Malcor, right? And the accusation is that, again, TCM revoked someone's cert because he got really, salty because the person was memeing and talking shit about him in the server. Even if that were the case, it's not acceptable for anyone to take away a cert. Even OffSec does not do this. Now, if you actually take a look at the tweet, or anyone that takes a look at that viral tweet, you'll notice that like the person's Discord handle is like partially, not like censored all the way. So if you'll notice, like the guy's name is Xpanda, you'll notice part of his like actual profile picture, which I did a cross check on. It's an actual match, so it's actually him and stuff in the actual tweet photo, so it's not fake. The problem right now with the whole stance is that TCM is saying that they wouldn't do that, because you guys did a quick recap on that, right? They're saying that they didn't do this and that, and they're saying they did all this review and all that, but they have yet to disclose any form of evidence, not even something that's like censored or anything like that, right? And that's the whole problem with the situation is that Heath is denying that this ever happened. And what he does is something very sneaky and kind of dirty and really clever. Is he uses the truth to masquerade a lie, right? So what I mean by that is basically he was so against talking about the whole cheating situation, because he's accusing and saying one of his students basically cheated, right? So he avoids talking and going back and forth. And I even made a post in the matter where, like, I give respect to TCM. I respect what they've done for the community, but you guys got to stop talking. You can't keep avoiding this. Just show us something, even if it's censored or screen or whatever. Just show us something, right? There shouldn't be any hesitation to do that. And they keep talking about that the reason why they're not doing it is because of their policies and their privacy policies, right? But I read through all of TCM stuff even before I was like really comfortable with start talking about this, right? And there's not a single policy set in place for this. There isn't even there isn't any reason for them to not like discuss this. Even still, it sounds like the student, and I've talked to him, right? He's giving consent and he wants to talk, so he's completely fine with keeping them talk about the situation. What Heat does is apparently there are two students right now. He doesn't tell us that. He's talking about the situation as if there's just one student, but there are actually two students, right? There's a student that was called Najam Ui, or I don't know how to pronounce it. Forgive me, but he is actually a legitimate cheater, and so although he never, every time he talks about the situation, he never really verifies on what actually happened. When this student actually does come out and try to, defame TCM for what they did, right? He actually got caught because he actually comments under the post, and he actually starts showing like screenshots, Discord handles, and all information. Right now, that sounds good on paper, right, guys?
Yeah, so far so good.
That sounds good on paper. It sounds like he's. I was excited. I got a post ready. I was posting it in my Discord server. TCM was in the right. Of course, I knew that there was something going on, that there was some cheating going on, right? Now TCM was making themselves look good, right? Here's the catch. Funny enough, Heath actually reached out to me and said, "Hey, that's not the guy." And I took a screenshot of the actual message he sent me directly himself. Now that didn't add up, right? Because you're saying that this isn't the guy and that there's another guy, but you're also saying that you wasn't willing to disclose anything for privacy reasons. But then you go and this post did go viral. The student that was trying to lie and say he didn't cheat, but he actually cheated. But then he starts to go into the student's post and he starts revealing privacy-related information. So I'm like, wait, you weren't willing to disclose information. You didn't tell us that there were two students. You then denied and said stuff wasn't making any sense, and I just kept getting really suspicious. Eventually, I was able to get linked into contact with a guy named Xpanda who actually he's innocent the whole time. Apparently, TCM really did ban him because of a meme. He sent me all the documentation, screenshots, all the handles. Heath acting like a man-child, getting upset because someone was memeing and trolling him in his own Discord server. He got so appalled. And he showed me like the time frame of when he found out his certs were revoked. And not only did Heath lie about not knowing about the meme, the screenshots that I have show that he knew about the meme. So he lied about that, right? And then on top of that, he was lying about banning the guy. But then the Panda shows me the screenshot that says he is the one that banned him. To top it off, right? Heath was also very clever about how he framed the student. So he basically used Najam as a means to masquerade and make it seem like he was calling out the original guy about the original guy that was memeing about him, but he wasn't. So it was like a clever way for him to defame another person and say they were cheating when they weren't. That guy Najam, he actually was in fact a cheater. He did cheat, which is why his certifications were taken away. Panda, however, did not cheat. I checked everything, confirmed everything. He did not cheat. He really did have his certs removed because of a meme. He really was banned because of a meme. And they kept lying. They kept trying to cover it up. They kept trying to gaslight him in the messages, which, again, it's going all a major article right after this. You'll see everything in detail, uncensored, unfiltered, everything. I have complete consent to post this information. I did all the checks. It's not there's no legal actions. In fact, the one that can take a legal action is actually Panda, and I stand by him on this, which is why I wanted to come onto this podcast and talk about it. The crazy part about it is Heat's way of handling the situation was they were laughing, talking crap. They even went as far as to, like you said, right? They were shooting themselves in the foot by not only refusing to speak right away, but on top of that, right? On top of just shooting themselves in the foot, they were. Hold on, let me get my thoughts together. Sorry about that.
It's all good. So where are you planning on posting this article? Unless it's complete.
This article is going to be posted on my LinkedIn.
Okay.
Yeah, it's going to be posted on my LinkedIn.
Send us a
But
link.
yeah, I'll send you the link when it's.
Link to it. All right.
I don't have the link for the article yet. It's not ready. I'm still polishing, editing the drafts. I also have to make sure that all the evidence is collected and organized correctly. It's just really crazy that they would shoot themselves on the foot, and then on top of shooting themselves on the foot, right? Like you said, it was getting too suspicious. You had staff members, staff members like talking but not showing anything, even though they're in on the whole situation. You have them banning people for simply asking a question, a simple question, banned, timed out, blocking people. Malcor was blocked / banned from the Discord server. They denied and said he wasn't, but he actually was. He is banned from the server. Then we have
and that was based on the suspicion of cheating.
The suspicion of TCM lying about what they were doing, because again, people were calling out TCM because it's just not making any sense. They're not posting any evidence. I even wrote a follow-up post to explain what was going on. On top of that, he was just again, another guy got banned, and then I'm seeing we're in the Signal server, right? We're in the Signal group chat. There's more talk about banning people. They're just going around ruling with an iron fist, trying to ban anyone that like talks on the situation. And we can't go around having it, because this is a terrible form of ethics when it comes to certification. The only time you ever revoke a certification, in this case, is if a student is cheating. Has he been caught cheating during the exam? Najam, however, the guy I was talking before that was guilty of cheating, it was actually confirmed he was asking for outside help during the exam. He reached out to a guy and didn't know that they were TCM staff. The guy does identify that he is TCM staff, and he tells him, "Hey, are you asking a question during the exam?" He's saying, "Oh, I don't know you." He's pretending as if he wasn't. He was pretending as if like the guy was reaching out to him, but and he takes advantage of that whole situation to distract us from what he just did. Very cleverly done. Very cleverly done.
So have they banned you?
What's up?
Have they banned you?
No, I'm not in their Discord server, and even if they did ban me, I no longer really want to be affiliate or support the brand. I actually have to go into like my past major stuff where I recommended them my articles, and I have to just swipe their name off, and that's it. I don't support what they're doing.
Sure.
So I feel like this is most likely a one-off, but there's no way this is systemic.
I haven't heard anything about this from other people outside of this recent stuff. So if it were systemic, I imagine the community would be more vocal about it.
This is the problem is that viral, though, right?
You got to remember the problem that Heath is doing, and this is just something that like we're smart enough to not fall for that, right? We're smart enough to check. He's taking advantage of the current reputation of value that he's built with people, right? Like if you trust someone so much, if people, they can say anything and not show you something, and you'll just believe them off the gate. That's like a clever form of social engineering. When you build trust with someone, right? My best friends, they can tell me anything, and I will trust their word and take their word. And it's bias, right? There's been situations where I've let the bias get the better of me, and I've just been like, you know what? You don't have to show me anything. It's fine. And that's what Heath is doing. That's what he's cleverly doing. He did it on a very successful level. A lot of people aren't, and again, he's not showing any information. He's blocking and getting rid of the people that are trying to talk. How can the people really become aware if he's just banning and blocking everyone? That's why we need this podcast. That's why we need people sharing the article, making it go viral. And also, the guy Panda, when I was talking to him, he sounded really distressed, like he was like scared to talk. I'm like, no, bro, you got to speak up. We got to get this shit out. We got to start making people aware of what TCM is doing. The only way you can really stop what they're doing and raise more awareness is you have to speak. You cannot be afraid to speak. He has all the evidence. He has all the power. He has all the tools. I told him, if you get a lawsuit right now and that shit connects, right, that's even worse for TCM. That's even worse because now they just lied, and we have all the proof, the podcast, the articles, all this. TCM can't deny that.
Right.
It's a very unfortunate situation because in my mind, they were very reputable up until this point. I was even considering maybe going to take some of their certs because it seemed like their training material was pretty good. I had subscribed to them in the past.
A couple of their classes, and
they were.
I hate that. I do. I hate that.
You know, they say never meet your heroes in this industry, and it does sometimes ring true, man. You get disappointed by these people who you kind of put on a
Yeah,
pedestal.
yeah, and I put him on a huge pedestal because he's the one where like he's one of the only two people. And again, I've talked about this before on why I recommended him. He's one of like the only technically like 3 to 4 people in my opinion out of like dozens and dozens of professionals that knows how to teach binary injection and it makes sense and it clicks because everyone that tries to teach it, it's a shit show. It's a hot mess. No one's understanding it. He's probably the one of the few people that have done it right. But also, I had like experience with his material before he even started TCM. I already was following him before he started the whole thing. That's why whenever people talk shit about him, I always came to his aid. I always made posts that don't say that about TCM. I was like repping him so hard because I'm like I already know he had the potential to become one of the top dogs, and to see him do this shit, this laughable shit, this little petty shit, that's disgraceful. You're taking away someone's cert because you're mad that they shit talk you. A Discord timeout or ban is fine if he was really being that disruptive, but he wasn't. It was literally something you can just fucking ignore. So you can ignore all the shit talking back to back. Apparently, I don't even think he's been ignoring it because apparently his Discord server is toxic. Apparently, from what I'm finding out, it's toxic, and the material that he has in his certifications, they're charging you for stuff that's free on this channel. Some of it's reused. It's just like it's reused. So now he's charging you for stuff that's already up on the channel that's free. You can already watch that, and they're not telling people about that. So now it's making me question whether or not people should pay for it, and it's making me question a lot of stuff in general. Panda, who actually took the certs, right? He's an experienced hacker, and he was like, "Hey, a lot of his certs, like this stuff, isn't practical for like real situations. I'm talking about real situations." And I was like, "Huh, really?" Because he was giving me more insight, not like on the specific material. Of course, he can't disclose that. He can't. But he was saying, yeah, it's not very practical, even though it's
To
said
be fair,
practical.
you could say that about any certification, especially OSCP. But I'm kind of with you where I was watching TCM back when, like, just starting out before they even had their training website and everything set up. And then I actually went and paid for their courses and looked through some of it, and they've got really good content. So it's kind of, it kind of sucks to see this happening, I guess is what I would say.
And to see the allegations also that they had ripped off OffSec at one point come up as a reaction to all of this. I had never heard that before. I've looked at a lot of their videos. I didn't see anything similar to the OffSec stuff in there. It not even close. It's I mean, very similar in terms of the actual quality of the content, arguably, because I have both versions of the OSCP materials that I paid for, and that stuff's great. And his stuff's, I'd say, comparable. If you want to learn how to hack, I mean, stuff I've seen him put up has been pretty fucking good. And you mentioned alone, like binary injection, being very good at teaching that. You know, it's a shame that this is happening. I think when you get this kind of power, it's arguably like everybody kind of looks up to you. You got to maintain the status quo. You can't be getting all pissed at somebody and acting out this kind of way because they kind of just hurt your brand, you know?
Yeah, be humble and take it on the chin.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny part about it is that he crossed like the line of an illegal cert revocation where like if he just literally comes clean and just give the person back his certs and apologizes, I think that would. But now like his staff is cracking jokes. You know I don't know who the chick with like she looks a little bit tomboyish and has like the suspenders in her profile picture. She was clowning, laughing, talking about someone came into the Discord, was saying something, they tried to tag the company, and she was laughing about it. She was laughing about people trying to really get answers and speak up about the situation. They're blocking people, they're being unethical, they're being vague, they're taking advantage of people's good faith. And people are more and more, slowly and surely, I've been hearing that people are starting to like slowly step away, not supporting the content. People are getting suspicious. It keeps happening more and more. There's more posts calling out the suspicious behavior. I think the recent one where someone got banned for them asking a question. Again, another post like this went viral. You have the cheating situation going viral. You have the Twitter with 337K views going viral. There's too much of this shit happening, and every single time they don't want to disclose anything. and there's just stuff against them. It's just not once this article and this goes live, the more and more people make this go viral, it's just they're not going to have an answer. They don't have an answer. And that's ultimately why they're shutting the fuck up and not saying anything and he's even trying to like get everyone to forget about the topic, post inspirational posts about being a brand member. It's all a means to just distract TCM. And he did it very, very cleverly. But again, I was still suspicious. Like even when he responded to Najam, the legit cheater, I was just like, why are you being so forthcoming now? It's just like, I gave good faith and still made a post and I had to revise it because of the message he sent me. But just something in that back part of my brain, I was just like, this just doesn't make sense. You were just complaining about the privacy policies. You were dead serious about the privacy policies. And you were concerned about it, but now you're just like, you're popping in the comment section and talking and this and that. It's kind of strange, kind of funny. And the dude that actually did cheat it, you can tell he was cheating because he deleted his whole post. It was funny. The screenshots, he took the whole post. That was kind of funny. Like the cheater got called out, but again, that's a means to distract us from the real situation, and it was cleverly done.
Was there a paper trail of who helped him cheat?
Well, yeah. Remember, he was trying to ask
the code of ethics. Like you're not supposed to tell anybody like big hints or anything.
No, he was actually trying to message someone, and he didn't like. I think he was dumb and didn't check the banner. But the person was TCM staff, and they identified themselves. And they told him. Right. They told him to identify himself once they verified that they were TCM, and the guy wouldn't. Wouldn't verify. Yeah. So basically, he reached out to a TCM staff. Didn't know it was TCM staff. They called him out and say, "Hey, are you in an exam?" They asked him very clearly, "Are you in an exam?" I actually have the post that will be attached in the article. They asked, "Are you in an exam?" because he was violating the rules. The dude's response was to basically block the TCM staff and run. He basically ran.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how he got his certs revoked.
So do we know if he got a refund or anything?
Well, no, he cheated during the exam. He legitimately cheated. He was actually trying to seek outside help. Their policies don't refund for that. So if once you start the exam, you can't refund you for that. It's before the test. I'm referring
to the other guy, the meme guy.
No, the meme guy. No, again, remember they did all this to cover up. It's all done intentionally. They haven't refunded him. They didn't come out and say anything else. If
you get your certs revoked over some dumb shit that doesn't break, the terms of service or whatever, that's theft.
But again, that's what I'm saying. That's what they're lying about. They're saying that he broke ethics and he didn't, and we have proof of that. Mm-hmm. Which is the shitty part. That basically is stuff. You're right. It's stuff, and it's hilarious.
So what it sounds like to me is, and just to confirm that I understand, there was one guy that was caught cheating, but because some dude was memeing another guy completely, they're using the guy that was cheating as a scapegoat to take the meme guys.
Yeah, it set the precedent.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. You got it. Exactly. Nailed it right on the head.
Not great. Not a good luck.
It's not because, and also to make it worse is that we can still bring up the meme guy because he was denying and saying this meme and he didn't know anything didn't exist. But when we actually, like from the screenshots I have, right, that you should have seen how he was acting. It was like, whoa, who is this guy? I don't know who he is. Why is he acting like that? This is the Heath Adams I would know that would act like that. I'm like, the one that we have an image of, and I was just like, wow. Like, why would you shit where you eat and leave everything in your own Discord server? Like, and he's a hacker, right? He didn't clean up anything. He didn't hide anything. It was like everything. He left himself out in the open.
Maybe he's just that confident in his position.
Maybe.
Yeah, he's really confident that people will just trust him. And that's not how this works when it comes to certification. See, he fucked up because no one's gonna sit there and like buy that you took a certain way. Like I've never. This is the first time in my years that I've seen something go viral with a student having their cert revoked. I've never seen it. I've never heard of it. Anytime a revoke happens, it's usually for a legitimate reason. And it just like they were just like, we don't want to answer. And that's some part of my language. That was some pussy ass behavior. That was the most pussiest behavior that I could ever hear. And then I'm hearing that he was a witness, and I'm just like, yo, like, oh my god.
So how did you panned a fella? how did they find out that their cert was revoked? Is it just they logged into their portal one day and it was just, hey, deuces gooses, or what happened?
That and an email. They got an email. They checked everything.
Okay.
It was crazy because like 2 weeks went by after he was banned from the Discord server. He was honest with me about the memeing and the trolling, and he said, yeah, even he agreed. That's a right to. He had a right to be banned from the server. I agree with that statement because he was trolling and being a meme and being a, kind of an asshole. I agree with that. But the problem is taking his cert survey was like that was a step too far. That was just a step way too far. But he was honest and very forthcoming. He did. That's true.
Like
he was very honest and forthcoming about it.
Banned from the Discord, that's fine. But revoking your certs over that, fuck that.
Yeah, even Offsec doesn't do that. And remember, there's a guy that went viral for lying and saying that Offsec bullied him, and then like it was I posted about it before where it was found out that Offsec didn't bully him. He just went in the server, didn't check all the rules, was expecting that they were IT support, and he lied about them banning him, but they never banned him, and it was like tons of screenshots and evidence. And I called him out on it along with a couple of people.
Yep. That sets a really bad precedent for TCM as a company.
Yeah, and they're a small company. Remember, they just got off. They just started. They're still like what, 5 years? That's baby years. And for their reputation, it's still baby steps, right? Now they basically just went and stomped on that little fucking 5 years, and it was like, oh, okay. And people were already talking shit about them. They were already talking shit about them. They were already getting a hard time, right? This isn't what you want to have happen to you.
I'm just concerned that, like, yes, we are a certificate body, and we can revoke it at any time after you paid for it and completed all the work and put all that time, effort, money, energy into it. Oh, gone. That's
the thing is it's stupid. And the thing is they can't, because I checked all their policies. They have it very clearly stated that they can only revoke it if you cheated during the exam and was seeking outside help. That can lead to a cert being revoked. I think banning you from courses or anything else, that's if you're like disclosing their material for like their courses or I'm not sure, but I think I have to check it again. But I'm not sure, but I think they can also revoke your cert if you're like giving out the exam material. But I don't think that's one of the factors. But the biggest factor to being banned from taking their courses is if you're just disclosing their material and they catch you.
Yeah, that's what OffSec's like. That's why they put the watermark with your name on it, or at least they used to.
Yeah. So that makes sense, but he was just banned. He didn't violate any of the policies, and they lied about him violating shit. I'm just like, the more I checked it, because when he reached out to me, right, a serious talk really did happen in my Discord server, because one of the guys that introduced me to Panda was like, how should I trust you? And the guy was, you'll know because Futaba will turn on you right away. Just tell the truth and you have no problems. And I was straight up telling him, as long as you are telling me the truth, you will have nothing to worry about. Like, but this is like where I'm telling him to step up and be honest. So he's in my Discord server. You got all the people that can see him. What he's saying. You got him messaging me right. So he's putting himself out there. Like, if you want me to trust you, now's the time, because I only switch up or go rogue on someone when they're doing something. And my server was pretty clear. He will turn on you if you lie. So don't fucking lie. And I told him to his face, I will do that. Yeah. And I wasn't joking about it. I'm not going to be on your side if you lie. Don't fuck with me.
Yeah, that's fair.
I don't care who you are, if we're best friends or we're close. I will switch up on you if you do some shit you shouldn't be doing. That's it. I'm able to separate my emotional connection or relation with someone in order to do the right thing.
Can't social engineer a social engineer.
And basically, it was me telling him, you either tell the truth, and he was just like, okay, I trust you. I can tell you're being honest with me. And I comforted him throughout the whole situation. So it was okay. I was trying to talk him into seeking legal action. He took a minute to chill, process his feelings. And I was really helping him get through the situation, because it's just very unjust. Regardless, those certs are still really important. He needs to get them back.
Man, there probably is a legal case to be had there.
Oh no, there is a legal case to be had. That's why I'm like,
the question,
I'm hoping he goes through it.
The question I have is if TCM loses that trust, what happens to everybody else who has the certifications? Then what? If they lose
Oh,
their
In theory,
court case,
in theory, I guess the clout and reputation could be damaged.
sure, but say you go through this court case and something happens, and we're reaching here, not completely understanding the legal precedent myself at this moment in time. But say they go through this court case, and because of all of this, they end up losing their certification power. What happens to all the other people who got theirs? Do they lose their certifications too? Is that just sorry, dudes?
Here's the thing, I've said this before. This might sound strange, right? But I don't think whether you have it like officially on like it's. Let me see if I can word this better. Regardless of whether or not that cert is eligible, you still passed it. You still proved your skill sets when that cert was active. You still demonstrated your knowledge to pass it. That's like if you got a CompTIA cert and it suddenly expired and you chose not to renew it. It doesn't mean you never passed it, and it doesn't mean you never had the skills to pass it. You still have the proof of where you passed it, verification, everything. On top of that, you can also verify your actual skills, right? That's like why I always say I don't care about certs and why they don't matter. There's just a piece of paper. Regardless of whether or not people still pass it, people still can verify their skills in various different ways. I think it hurts the trust of people. Like, how do I trust that? I think people might start asking, oh, how can we trust the legitimacy of this exam? I think that will become a big factor. That will actually hurt the people that have the cert, because now they're like, well, if this tests are like this, how do I know this was like really a test of skill? But then again, we have tons of certifications that are multiple choice where it doesn't. We already have that mindset with certifications in general. There's a reason why we're slowly moving towards skill set. Like cybersecurity is slowly but surely going to move towards like, do you have the skills or not? Because people are starting to realize that people with certifications aren't able to do the thing. That's already something that's been in question.
Yeah.
There's another way to look at this. On one side, sure, that was shitty. On the other side, you could think of it in terms of reputation, like, oh, these guys take cheating seriously. So
the one
go
guy,
either way.
but the other guy, that's where your issue is.
Yeah.
But I personally for me, and I'm being honest, for this situation, I don't think it's going to hurt the students, because we're proving that TCM did something illegal, not the students. So it's actually going to not affect. I don't think it's going to affect the students. It's going to affect them. It's going to affect the ethics when it comes to like certification companies, right? So now when they do revoke a cert, there might be some like forced disclosure policy that might be set in place legal wise, right? It might start making us crack down on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's going to hurt this, because we're proving that a company wronged the student. That means that everyone that passed it, for as long as they didn't cheat, they're good.
Sure, but it's the reputation of the company that you've gotten the certification from, right? But that also means you've associated with that organization who now has a bad reputation. It's just like a bad coworker, for instance.
Yeah, it still causes that little issue.
It's kind of like EC Council. Like they're kind of a joke now, right?
Yeah.
These certs live and die by their CPS and what guidelines they've hitched themselves to. Like the CA browser forums baseline requirements as an example. Like you start revoking certs for BS reasons, it's not long before browser vendors or accreditation bodies start dropping you from the root store faster than you can say key compromise. Trust dies in silence, and they're not going to announce your funeral. So like if you yank a cert because you might be breaching the contract with whoever paid for it, you're going to have lawsuits, fines, injunctions. Maybe not always like directly, but the legal system loves paper trails. And like if you unjustly revoke a cert, it's kind of digital negligence just waiting to be litigated.
It's theft.
Yeah. It's like I took your money to you're going to go through my study materials and prove that you know this shit, and then take a test to prove that you can do it. And if I revoke that because I don't like something about you personally.
Oh, you said something that offended me.
Mm-hmm. Or that's not how reality works. It's like if I get certified as an electrician, and then I go out and I make a post about the president that people don't like, they don't take away my electrician's license, you know?
It's unless you do something during the exam or you do something that's worth having it revoked by. Like, I mean, there are certifications where if you do a specific thing on the field, like, let's say, for example, I'm not saying this is an actual thing. Let's say a hacker got certified to be an ethical hacker, but they got caught committing corporate espionage, right? But that would be a reasonable way to take away a cert. Hey, we can't have this person doing this for these companies anymore because he just committed fucking corporate espionage.
But still, he would have the cert still.
It would be more like you have it going in and talking shit about the electrician that you're working under, right? More so than say the president or something. And then
I'm just making an example on like another scenario where they could revoke a cert.
Sure.
So, like, unjust revocation might not immediately nuke your cert authority, but you start stacking violations like procedural, legal, reputational, and you're going to find yourself ghosted by like all the people in the industry who formerly would have trusted your cert. I mean, this can have wide-reaching implications for the entire community when one of our certifying bodies is unjustly, or at least that's what seems to be happening here. We don't know yet what the whole deal is, so I'm not going to judge before all the facts are in. But on the surface right now, this is what it looks like. Like, because of personal reasons, they don't like the memeing that he was doing in the Discord. They took his cert away, and that's kind of bullshit, man. You shouldn't be able to do that.
You want to know something funny? Is that when I talk about TCS potential, right, I started noticing, like, and I'm not sure if the stats are accurate, but I started noticing that they started rising through the ranks of, like, I prefer this person with this, or just like the same with Hack the Box or like Offsec. Slowly but surely, like, people were like, they're obviously not Department of Defense type certs on that level, like CompTIA and stuff like that. But they were rising through the ranks very quickly, and they had a lot of amazing potential. And their stuff is practical. I'm not going to take it away from them. Their stuff is practical. You actually can apply it on the job or in a real situation where you're trying to create your own little exploits to do whatever you do, legally or illegally. That stuff is actually practical. So I'm not going to say it's not. It actually is very practical. I'm one that can talk for it. But yes, they had this much potential and were rising through the ranks. And it's like you just shot yourself in the foot because someone memed you. That's silly.
I feel like this is more of a black eye. I think it's just a little stain on their reputation, but they'll be fine.
One can hope, because I mean, look, they do put out quality content compared to a lot of these cert mills that are out there. Like, we're gonna turn you into a hacker in a month, kind of bullshit.
Boot camps and shit.
They produce quality consistently, good quality content.
I like it.
Free. Now, if they're also taking their stuff they previously put out free and then reselling it as a paid course, that I have issue with. If you're going to put out content for free, you keep it as content for free. You don't then say, I'm going to go gatekeep this stuff that I previously put out and charge you for it.
When you pay for it, you expect to see something you haven't seen for free on YouTube.
Exactly. There should, at the very minimum, be labs associated with it that you can only access on the paid side. Or like, look, I have issues with like Vivek over at SecurityTube. The way that dude started doing shit, like he would go out and take other people's videos and dub over them. Now, eventually he made his own good content, switched it from just SecurityTube to his whatever the hell his product's called now, where he's got certifications built around it. I went through his labs. They had some quality shit in there. He actually does it all in the browser, where you're using like Guacamole to connect to like a little instance that's virtualized right there. Cool shit, technologically. But at the same time, I very still much disagree with how when he started out, he would just take other people's content, dub over it. I've heard through the grapevine that there's a dude who used to be big into making security videos who now works at a Walmart because of what Vivek did to that guy. So, like, you have to act ethically within this community. If you're going to, it's one thing to, like, link to somebody's video, even to play their video and maybe comment on it, that's fine. But to dub over it and act like you were the one typing the commands is bad. So in the same way, if you're running a certifying body that's not just free YouTube videos anymore, you have to act ethically. You can't be effing around and doing this kind of stuff. I mean, I get power goes to your head, right? I can certainly see myself in the situation. If I'm running a cert body and somebody's pissing me off, be like, fuck you, I'm taking your certs. But I'm an asshole. He's not supposed to be an asshole. He's supposed to be like a figurehead in the community that people look up to.
Yeah, he's esteemed.
Yeah. There's a difference between me being an asshole and him going out and taking somebody's cert because he doesn't like them. That's a dick move. Like even an asshole can recognize.
When you have that kind of power, you should have that kind of moral compass. That should be the thing, especially in security, right? Because there's the web of trust. And if you don't have the web of trust, kind of fucking useless. It doesn't matter what skill set you've got.
Yeah, I agree, man. With great power comes great responsibility, just like Spider-Man.
Yep.
Spider-Man.
Uncle Ben. He should have carried a 1911.
Be alive.
He should have. Uncle Ben should have carried a 1911. Changed my mind.
Oof.
An Ed
Harry
Brown.
Potter also should have carried a 1911. Changed my mind.
An Ed Brown 1911. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Be an alternate timeline where Uncle Ben survives because you shot the guy but ended up in prison, and now Spider-Man's fighting for criminals.
No. At that point, it would have been self-defense because old boy jacked his car and shot him. Because
it's New York, dude. You can't even carry a fucking firearm there unless you've got like a really rich friend who's willing to get you a firearms permit in New York City.
Fair, and I guess you could get caught.
And
up
then
in
you
that.
get shot.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm so sorry. We've derailed.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm good at. I derail all the things. Futaba, what else do we got on this?
Well, let me see. Let me scratch my brain for a bit.
Anything else to add? Any more
I
comments?
think for the most part, I've pretty much covered and talked about everything throughout my little list that I sent in for the intro. But to be honest, I think all I can really say is that it took a while for me to process when I actually because I'm gonna be honest, I was one of those biased people who were please tell me this is not true. Please tell me that the facts aren't adding up. But the more I kept reading the messages, the more I kept checking stuff, the more I basically had to put past my emotions, and really look at the situation for what it is. And that's not something I was ready
or willing to do.
The many times I've had to do that, I wasn't I had to get out of my comfort zone. I have to accept this is what really happened. Right. And it was just I was talking in my server and I was so angry and disappointed because I was I really do rep TCM, but not this shit. For me personally, I just feel like they should own up to it, right? And apology, just do the right thing. It kills your brand. I still believe they have the potential. Just this is not the way to handle it. This is a childish situation. It's immature, disgraceful. It will have people paranoid about.
Yeah.
Discord community was actually toxic, right? Finding out it was actually toxic makes me start to take back and not only hearing all the comments, seeing the stuff of people actually posting screenshots. I'm this is just really disgusting. Seeing how their mods act, no respect. They were just trying to
You're breaking up real bad. Good time. We've lost you, I think.
Ugh. Yeah, your signal probably has gone to shit.
Yeah, I don't think probably is the word here. I think we have definitively he's having some problems.
Oh my god.
It's funny, my freaking connection dropped right as I was talking about this. Now I have to put a tinfoil hat on.
I was gonna say not today, NSA.
So I was gonna say though, his point about paranoia, yeah, that's real. If you're just gonna willy-nilly revoke a cert,
Nobody's
it
gonna
seems like taking a risk to pay for it.
Yep. Nobody's gonna buy your stuff anymore. Because you trust, again, it goes back to that web of trust. You've built that trust over those 5 years that you've been doing the thing, and that cert is good and certified and all that jazz. And if it can just be taken away because in this instance Heath Adams is angry about somebody doing something or saying some bullshit, nobody's going to want to do that anymore, and it's going to be a bad time.
It almost seems
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
The well
Yes,
was
sir.
poisoned. The guy that actually cheated poisoned the well, set a precedent, which got that other guy's cert revoked.
I'm not sure that they had anything to do with each other, honestly. I think it may be a what's the word?
It does for the way that it does for the way distraction, right? Does that make
Kind of
sense?
Distraction, but you're cutting out still pretty heavy.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Having some trouble.
Is he still at the storage unit?
Still there for
Don't dox his location.
I have no idea where he's at.
I mean, what are they going to do? A whole bunch
You're
of
walking
folks?
from my storage unit.
There you go. All right. So he did it himself. Somebody's going to go find it and bid on it, and they're going to open the thing, and he's just going to be in there, and somebody's going to bid like $2,000 on it.
Based on the audio, they're going to figure out where he's at geographically.
Yeah.
Dude,
That would be
I've been
impressive, honestly.
very impressed with some of the stuff I've seen with people taking like one piece of information and finding
Oh,
the
man.
location of it.
There's
Everything from
some
like
monsters on the internet, man. There's some monsters on the internet. Some
dude,
like,
one was literally like 4 letters on a menu that he could make out. That wasn't even in the original shot. That was like he could get from when he expanded it based on the metadata. Because like iPhones, they will crop an image, and you send it to somebody, it displays the cropped area, but then you can expand it. Like he was able to expand it and then track down the actual restaurant based on very little information.
4 letters.
Impressive.
Dude, one of
my
our
favorite
buddies
dudes-
solved a case for the cops because they released the video footage to the public and they couldn't find the guy. And based on the t-shirt this guy was wearing, he was able to figure out where he lived and the dude's name, his social profile, gave it to the cops, and everybody involved was arrested. That was hilarious.
That reminds me of like the first episode of Psych when he's watching TV and he solves the crime just from like the manager on TV sweating. He's like, the manager did it.
There's a game of sorts out there. I can't remember what it's called right off the top of my head, but my nephew and I were looking into starting. It's helping to solve cold cases. God, what's it called? Something like Trace Labs. There we go. Trace Labs, I think it was. That's something we're starting to look into doing together. I have a history of some stuff happened in my life, and I ended up hunting child predators for a couple years, and that kind of started me on a wild life tangent.
It's called interfeetfirst.com. That's the whole team of people that do that shit.
I thought it was the Innocent Lives Foundation with.
Well, there's probably more than one, but
I think
First is the one I'm
pretty sure
affiliated
Trace
with.
Labs was the one we were looking at. This is much harder to do with one. Yes, Trace Labs is the one we were looking at. Yeah, this is much harder to do with one monitor than it is with the 4 that I'm used to. Anyway, so there are a lot of them out there. If that's something you're into or want to go and start poking around. Was that me?
Oh, damn it. That DNS doesn't work anymore. What the fuck?
Did I?
It's always DNS.
Yeah, it's always DNS.
Son of a bitch. Oh, well, I retract that statement then.
But yes, hunting folks is something that I have in my repertoire of capabilities. Good stuff.
The whole idea behind Interfeet First was the wood chipper.
Love that. Okay, all right, all right.
You gotta look out for CrowdStrong because he's got a paid version of Maltego.
Oh boy,
Is that what it is? Interfeet First. What is it? .org? .com?
I thought it was .com, but it's not
.com
showing
What?
up. Maybe it's not there anymore.
Hold on.
Maybe I'm getting it wrong.
I haven't heard of that one, but I have to look that up because as I said, I fell into it. Okay. Some stuff happened, and I won't go into too much detail, but some stuff happened, and
The connection took my voice away. No.
there was somebody who was really close to me that there was a mistake for that kind of activity, and it wasn't that kind of thing, but I had to go back and prove that. But it did get me started and made me realize that there were some places on the internet that A, didn't exist when I was growing up, B, also are littered with child predators, and they're a whole lot easier to get your hands on if you know how to finagle them just right. So did a little bit of that for about 2.5 years, and anonymously submitted information docs for 13 of them to their local police departments. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Good job.
So go hunt your local pedophile.
That's right. That should be a shirt.
Hunt your local pedophile. It is for sure.
Spot the ped, not spot the fed.
There you go. Are you back with us, Futaba?
How's my voice sound?
Much better.
You're good now.
Okay. So now that the connectivity isn't punching my voice away, I think for the most part, now that I can say it a lot cleaner, I'm still honestly processing how I feel, having to like look at someone I really admired and really respected, and I'm just like, damn, you're kind of a man-child piece of shit. I'm like, and I'm like, when he messaged me, I was just like, my spider senses were tingling. I'm like, wait a minute, you don't do this to me. I was like, I'm not sure. There's like, there's this K drama. This reminds me of like this K drama where I was watching. Yes, I'm gonna talk about K drama. I fucking love that shit. Where like the dude's mom was like a thief. She stole like millions of dollars, and she was like trying to help her son with it figure out. And her son's a cop, and he catches her, and he's like crying while arresting her. I'm like, no, what are you doing, Kate? You're oh my god.
Burger shit. Got family. This is the DEA trying to hide from him. Hey, Heisenberg.
I lost my fucking shit. When I had to accept that this is the reality. I'm like, I kept trying to like look for evidence that proves. I was trying to defend them. I was like, let me find if there's any evidence. That's what I was looking for. I was like, shit.
But that
oh my god,
to the level of trust he gained, right? And like that's
Yep.
That's rough.
Like I can't judge the guy too hard. He brings a lot to the table, but at the same time, if this is just a one-off thing and he owns up to it, awesome. Sure. If this is a recurring thing, then boom. I'm done.
That's
I
the
think
kind
he
of
needs to
like,
just
immature shit you expect from me, not from like fucking Heath, you know?
I think he just needs to reach out, apologize, give the search back, own up to it, right?
Yeah.
This will hurt his reputation, but it will also build his reputation that he's just owning up to it. Obviously, he's still going to get hit hard because there's going to be people that reasonably so don't have to forgive him for that shit. No, you took away the sword. That's going way too far. The reason why it's like more important, and I feel like some people that don't really know much about cybersecurity aren't going to understand this. Certifications are extremely expensive to go for. So yes, revoking someone's cert is a major thing.
Mm-hmm. It's not even about the money. It's the time and effort you put into it.
Yeah, it costs a lot of money to go get SANS certified. It costs a lot more time, effort, and energy to do it. And what the hours on that are exponential to the 10 grand you'll end up spending for the test.
Mm-hmm.
Years, because it's actually years of time, because remember you're learning you're learning and growing just so you can be ready to like take these exams and nail it. You're going from zero to hero just to take the exam. And some of these certs, even if it's like an entry level cert like the OSCP, right? You still have to learn a lot of shit and still sit there and be in study mode. It took me 2 years to learn shit before I could start applying shit. That's disrespectful.
Yep.
It's kind of a slap in the face. Like, fuck.
We've also learned not to give Havoc keys to the kingdom to certify people.
Oh, definitely don't. Don't trust me.
So
don't worry about him. I betted him.
When we put out CounterSurveil certifications, that guy's not running it. Got it.
I would not be in charge of that. We would offload that to CrowdStrike there. He's more not going to fuck with somebody to take their cert because they pissed them off one day than I am.
That sounds like a me problem. Yeah. That's
what's also sad about this is that what's also sad about this is that TCM has tons of actual positive reviews, and now because of this whole situation, people might start actually having this paranoia, saying, "Can we trust those reviews? Are they fake? Is he paying them?" Like, you get what I'm saying, right? The whole paranoia. It will actually hurt them for that.
There's so much involved, especially again. Like, I can't stress enough the web of trust. Once you break that web, once you fall from that web, there's so much damage that can be done. And it only takes one, dude.
Another point though would be like, are we making a mountain out of a molehill? Like, are we exacerbating this molehill, turning it into a word?
Exacerbating? Yes, it is.
He put a T in it.
Oh, okay.
To be honest, I don't think we are. It's not. It's just like, this is a core level of ethics, and it's really. I have to catch my word. Okay, basically, I don't think we are. It's not. If this were like any like silly cert that doesn't have any value, That's like a $2 sword. I'm
But
like,
that's
I,
Google's basic certification, the one that they'll give you for free or whatever.
but this is like an actual cert that people are paying for. It's a product. It's well known. It's
This one is very well
no,
accredited these days.
just imagine what happened if Offseg did this. They already get shit, right? And they're mature about it. Just imagine what happened if they did this shit. Nobody would let this slide.
But if it's just Heath, I mean, I get it. Every now and then you can get up in your feels, make some mistakes, but yeah, he should own up to it.
The sad part about it is that his own staff is going around, like I said, laughing, giggling, making posts. They're supporting it. Even the Discord server, they're like they're not even showing any shame. They don't show any shame. They don't show any remorse. The evidence is out there. The posts are out there. They're not even hiding that shit.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
That hurts them even more because now they're basically saying they're basically flat out saying to our faces, we don't give a shit. They've even admitted that they've even admitted and talk about their reputation being the reason why they're not going to take like really any damage. I'm like, you're admitting this shit. You're admitting you don't care. You're admitting you're abusing your reputation with everyone. You're admitting it. So it's our faces. And then we have the screenshots of everything you're doing. You're admitting that you're bullshitting everyone. And it's like
They're calling
it's like
bluff.
remember this talk that we had before about how hackers just get caught in the stupidest ways? What this isn't like that specific situation, but like they basically just shot where they eat and they didn't even try to hide anything. Some places will try to hide it. They didn't even try to hide a single message, a single post, nothing. It's stupid.
Well, it seems that's just the situation and what's happened. Look, I don't have screenshots. I'm looking forward to when your article comes out and I can dive into that a bit more. But on face value,
I basically,
sounds good.
I basically have the article typed out. I'm just polishing it, checking for typos, and making sure the timeline is exactly correct with everything in order. Basically, I'm just organizing everything right now. But it should be up by either later tonight. That's actually why I'm still out and about outside. I'm still traveling around. I had to go to my store to pick up some stuff. I'm gonna go and chill at the McDonald's and just like finish typing aggressively so I'm not distracted. And then I'm just gonna post it, make sure it's live, and then I'm gonna comment it under the YouTube channel for the Discord for the podcast when it launches. But yeah, that's all gonna go live. Sadly, all these screenshots are gonna have to go live. I really didn't want to have to do this, but like, yeah, this should just no, because I have to, because otherwise people are gonna say, Futaba's bullshitting. He's just talking shit. Like, no, I'm actually not. I actually have a ton of this shit. I had to get Panda's consent. That's like another reason why I was talking to Panda. I wanted to make sure I had his consent, that it was comfortable. But before I even wanted to talk about it on the podcast, right? My goal was to convince Panda to be comfortable with us talking about it, so I can ask if we could talk about it on the podcast, and then go for it. He gave me the green light. We checked everything. Boom. He's completely comfortable with it. So now I don't have to hold back throwing my punches.
The thing that you have to remember about this too, Futaba, is that you're putting your credibility on the line too, because you're going after a large name based on some bullshit that they've done. That there's evidence, like you've got evidence based on what happened. So like it is your name too behind what you're doing, which I appreciate.
Yeah. The good thing about it is that I'm not giant. Well, no, I'm literally still in the womb. So I'm like,
sure, but
there's people talking about it, but yeah,
it goes back to that web of trust. You build that from somewhere.
Yeah, but the good thing about it, right, is that if something is wrong, I always make an issue or I announce there's going to be a retraction. I own up to it and I take accountability. That's something that a lot of my followers notice. I do actually do that. I don't hide from shit. I don't sit there and ignore and avoid the situation. I come out every single time. Every single time. I think there was a time, for example, right, where I think my Mr. Robot article where I was talking about how the bypass tour, like talking about like how Elliot bypassed tour, stuff like that. Someone commented, "Oh, it's not a core major vulnerability," and I said, "Oh, but it's a bypass," and we were having a good conversation, handled the situation maturely, and it was like, it was all chill, right? I'm not sitting there hiding when people make a negative comment. I'm not lashing out, acting like a child. I'm encouraging people to engage. Let's see our thought process. I think the entire time I'm talking about this thing, right? I have made it aware that I don't know all the facts. I'm giving my viewpoints, my opinions. This is information that I'm currently getting at hand. I actually do tell people if I make retractions. Basically, I'm telling people I'm talking about it. I'm posting information. If there's something wrong with it, I'm going to correct it. I'm going to tell you I'm going to correct it. That way we have that trust. That accountability and openness is always there.
That transparency.
That's the important part, is telling people you made a retraction or an edit instead of
transparency.
Retroactively going back, editing it, and saying, "Oh no, I never said that. Look at it now."
That transparency is paramount. That's what. That's how you build that web of trust.
Basically, the way I build trust.
We have a comment here from Elwood saying that I heard from others that the guy admitted on X to uploading fake certs to an accreditation site. Is this the same?
Are we talking about the Panda guy? So here's the thing. Regarding that situation, I'm not sure if that's the case. Basically,
Actually,
when he got his source
talking about.
I think he's talking about Panda. So here's the thing. When Panda had his source revoked, I think he made like a post memeing, say, talking about his TSC. So I think he posted something that showed the cert, but he wasn't like saying he was still surviving. He was just posting the cert regardless, because he still had it. But he wasn't like trying to splice and make a fake cert and post it. And that's something that's in the chat and discussion with me and him. That's actually something I should add in the article. But yeah, that is something that is being tossed around. And again, people are not showing screenshots; they're just talking about it. I'm actually going to show that stuff. But yeah, in terms of like the stuff with my brand, I like to have that level of transparency with people. If something is going to be in progress like this, where like I'm updating you on it, I'm going to change things. I'm going to tell you, even when people are talking in my server, I make it transparent with them. If you leave a review, you do this. I'm as transparent with people as possible, because transparency is another way to build trust. Because if you're transparent with people, even if you make a mistake, it shows that you're willing to step up and take accountability, even if you made a mistake. You're always being open and honest. You're always communicating. You're always retracting or making a correction when you do. Me putting my name on the line, that's like why I'm not really fearful, because people always know that I'm always going to be honest about the situation, and I'll always like do the right thing. So that's like why people are like, that's like why I'm not so very fearful about talking about it. If that makes sense. I know it's a bit rambling, but yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what comes out of all of this. Yeah, we'll see. I don't know.
There's a lot to come out of it.
I don't even want to make a prediction. Like, man,
I am interested to see where it goes as well.
Yeah, I'm also linking past articles where I'm updating and talking, so people can see like the timeline of like me talking about these topics, giving my basically everything I've been talking about on the podcast so far. It really is shady and shitty. I think when you guys talk about
shady at best,
yeah,
somewhat criminal at worst.
When you guys are talking about prediction, are you talking about my article, or are you talking about like the TCM situation in general?
How the situation plays out.
Yeah, I'm curious as well. To be honest, I give the benefit of the doubt, obviously, because I've seen enough screenshots and stuff already to verify that Heath was lying about a lot of stuff. But in the back of my mind, I'm always gonna have that mindset. I'm just hoping there's not like some little right hook punch ready to clock me in the face and say, "Oh, this is the real truth." I'm like, damn, like no, I'm like, I'll own up to it and post a retraction if that's the case. But I'm like, damn, like they had us.
I hope I'm wrong. But fuck the evidence.
Yep.
It's in my face. It's in my face. No.
But can the evidence be doctored? And that's the reason.
That's true.
So,
but that's why we have YOLK'S saying she's a witness. That's exactly why I was excited. She's a witness.
She was gonna roll up, but she's drunk and at the moment. So
that's why I need her to be that other punch that like I'm the right hook, she's the left hook. I need her to. That's when you said she was a witness. I was like, yeah, damn, she was a witness. She was in there. She could verify this any further line. I'm like, damn, let's go, let's do this. I'm like, but she didn't show up. I'm like, where is she? We need you now. Why? Why? No, I was like ready to drop. I was like, why? I was like, where's YOLK'S? Why am I not hearing her voice? What's happening? I'm having a panic attack.
She's drunk at an anime convention. She sends her regards. Stab.
But nonetheless, when she actually steps up and talks, right? I'm going to have that as the final piece for my article to go back and edit and put at the bottom. And I'll obviously tell people when I make that edit, that will be the final kicker to seal the deal. That's all I'm waiting for. That's literally the thing I'm waiting for.
Not draw too much attention to herself. So
yeah, you may want to talk to her about that before you make that decision.
But I thought we had the impression that she was comfortable. That's what we talked about in the Discord.
Yeah, if
that's the case.
So she said she had some info from the Discord, but she's hesitant to share it because she doesn't want to essentially show screenshots from a Discord without permission from people in the Discord. So she could, I think that was her concern there.
Well, the person that she only has to show screenshots of is the person that gave consent to show the messages. That's about it. The person that, if she's a witness and she witnessed the situation and it's Panda, then Panda doesn't care. He gave me consent to do that. So she does not have to worry about that. If it's someone else, then yeah.
She probably just needs to edit the screenshots.
It is worth asking her before you make the decision to do the thing.
Yeah.
I think that's what needs to happen.
Well, that's what I'm waiting on. So if she gives the consent, then it's fine. But if she's worried about screenshots, if it's anything with Panda, he does not care. But that's the whole reason why he gave me everything. If it's the admin, I mean, he gave me screenshots with the admin. It's like that's. If we keep editing to the point where like it's gonna look suspicious.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Understood. Yeah. So we'll let her talk for herself.
If it's
fun now.
Like other Discord. If it's like other Discord members that have nothing to do with the situation, yeah, that makes sense. She has to cut out their names. That absolutely makes sense.
That's what I'm talking about.
They have nothing to do with the situation.
Yeah, that would make sense. But then again, it's her prerogative to share what she feels comfortable with. So when she's back, y'all talk that out. You guys are in the same signal chats. You guys can reach out to each other. So I think we pretty much covered it. Is there anything else anybody wants to add? You guys want to keep going? Or anything else you guys want to talk about?
I have a squishy raccoon.
I have a piratey duck.
Do you guys want to keep talking on the podcast? I do have something that's not cybersecurity related, but it's like an interesting topic. If you guys want to keep going.
Sure, since we're here.
So
let's go.
What do you guys think about? So my question is, well, how much time do you guys have left, like in their personal time?
Let's go to an hour 30.
Okay,
so that's another 18 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So what I wanted to talk about, and I mentioned it to Sledge in the channel, was how do you guys feel about the Roy Lee situation? You know, the student that made a program that can like stay undetected and just solve all the leak code problems. And he got like kicked out of university, I think suspended from university for it. He got like job offers revoked. And again, he made this program as like a side project. He wasn't like promoting it and saying that students should cheat, but he's getting like penalized for making a tool. But personally, for me, I don't think he did anything wrong. I think he just made a tool. Whoever's using that tool, that's on them. It's like a hacking tool, right? If you decide to do some shit with that, that's on your end.
So can you back up for those of us who don't know what's going on?
Yeah, you broke up a little bit there.
Hold on. How's my voice now?
Better.
You're fine.
Okay, so basically, there's a student named Roy Lee. He's been going around viral lately. He basically made a program that can go undetected, that can solve all leak coding challenges during an interview, right? That's what it can do. That's what it's able to do. But he's not promoting and saying this is a tool to cheat during exams. He just made a tool. Just like how we have tons of different pen testing tools, right? It can do this. It can find your location, brute force passwords, perform injections. He just made a cool tool. And Jop and Fang in university, he got suspended from university, or basically kicked out a little bit from university because of it. He got job offers revoked because he made it, because people were just unhappy that he made something that others could use, right? But the question is why is he being punished when he wasn't like selling it or saying for people to use it to cheat. He just made it, and it was like a program to demonstrate his skills. But others are choosing to use it to cheat, and they're blaming him for it, and they're taking stuff away from him, even opportunities. The funny thing about it is that there are people supporting him.
Well, if he just made the tool and didn't intend for it to be used that way, I mean,
Let me quickly read the Gizmodo story here, and then we can weigh in. A Columbia University student is facing disciplinary hearings at the college after he used an AI program to help him land internships at Amazon, Meta, and TikTok. Roy Lee, the student facing down Columbia, told me he won't be on campus when the hearing happens, that he plans to leave university, and that the program he built to dupe big tech is proof that the jobs they're offering are obsolete. Landing a job for big tech companies a nightmare, colloquially known as FANG, Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. The companies put potential software engineers through a battery of interviews. The most hated part of the process is the technical interview. During the technical interview, programmers solve esoteric coding problems. Often they have to do it live on camera while an employee from the company watches. Lee's a sophomore at Columbia. He'd graduate in 2026 if he stuck around, and he planned to get a degree from the college and use it to get a job in big tech. Training for the tech interview killed his passion for the job. It was one of the most miserable experiences I've ever had while programming. I felt like I had to do it. It's something I needed to do for a big tech job, and there's just so much to learn, so much to memorize, and so many random problems I could expect to be thrown at me. Lee said he's a bit of a perfectionist, and that led him to spending 600 hours on training for technical interviews. His Lead Code Profile, a website that allows programmers to train for esoteric interviews, is a testament to his devotion. It made me hate programming. It's an absurd that this is the way technical interviews are done and conducted, and that's the way they have been conducted for the past 2 decades. According to him, these interviews often cover topics no one's ever going to see on the job, and instead it's performance for the executives. It's whether you've seen the problem before, memorized the solution, and can act like this is your first time seeing it. The answer to a lot of these is so algorithmic, they're just not representative of all of what you're going to be doing as a programmer on the job. He wrote this program called Interview Coder, and here's the website, interviewcoder.co, to help him and others bypass the process. His program does the hard work of the technical interview for you, and he claims it's completely invisible to the programs that big tech companies use to monitor a prospective employee's computer. In reality, the product's really simple. You take a picture, and then you ask ChatGPT, hey, how do you solve the problem in the picture? Literally, that's the entire product. Someone could probably build a working prototype of this in less than 1,000 lines of code, but don't take his word for it. It's on his GitHub here. And then on the GitHub, we have Interview Coder. This repository contains only releases. Please visit the releases page. And then we go to releases page, and we got a YAML file and some other random shit. Very, very cool. So now that we know what the hell the situation is, let's talk about it.
Okay, so now that we're doing...
Go for it, Fatah.
Okay, so now that we've gotten like a quick summary of the situation, I will say this makes him look really bad. It makes him look really bad because now, he's going. I get what he was trying to do. He was trying to go on interviews and he was trying to prove that the process
is antiquated.
It's outdated, but it makes him look bad in that it proves that he was trying to land an actual role by using this method. I think he was just trying to do it as an experiment, which I'm fine with, but it just makes him look so bad. But the thing that
though, for his skill set and capability to do it, right? Even if it is something as simple as taking a picture of something and sending it to ChatGPT, that's still using, still being smart enough to do it.
It's knowing how to use the tools in your toolbox.
Yeah, right.
And understanding when it gives you shitty code too, because ChatGPT is not the greatest coding AI out there. I mean, Anthropic's probably better at it.
Like what Larry Pesci was saying, it can save you hours, but you still have to go through there and fix it.
Not Joe Pesci.
He basically
better for coding.
He basically found a way to allow people to invisibly use chat. I mean, people were already starting to try and do that, but they didn't know how to do it in a smart manner. He was like, all right, here's the smartest way to do it. Bet.
I mean, my thoughts are, I think that's good on him to be able to come up with a method to do it. And realistically, as long as there's no like proprietary code or anything that's involved, who cares? In business, that's something like I know in my org, in my job, my day job, we are pushing AI like there's no tomorrow. This is a big, massive movement, is trying to move a lot more towards AI. So the fact that somebody is using that at their disposal, I don't think that's a problem, and I think it's wild that somebody would chastise or
Yeah.
that
I
would
feel like
ding him for that. But also the fact that
You know-
he's getting in trouble for other people abusing a tool. That's wild. But that is across the
It
board.
comes-
That
it
somebody
comes down
abuses.
to the principle of it. Usually that's why you have disclaimers in your tool saying this is not meant for illegal purposes. Do not do this. Do not do that. Whatever.
Sure, but is this illegal?
It is.
Is
if
there
It's not
something-
illegal.
under
It's
contract.
probably
something in
against,
these-
it's
is there
against
something
their
in these,
terms of service. It's
Well, is there
against
something
their
in
probably,
the technical interviews that says, "Hey, you can't do this"?
well, I mean, a lot of them will send you an NDA that you have to sign before you even take the technical interview. It says
Sure.
you can't copy their questions, you can't take their questions and put it in any kind of LLM.
No
That-
screen
that's already
recording.
baked in.
I could get that. That's where you get the hang up. I get this, but him getting nixed by the school for just creating this thing is
Yeah, that's bullshit.
It's Columbia. They throw people out for having opinions they don't like. Come on.
got nothing for him.
But
Columbia is one of
I
those
would
Ivy
own
League
that.
schools that just kind of like gone a little off the deep end in terms of yeah. So,
Dude, if I was him, I would own that shit and be like, hey, potential employer, I wrote this thing that got me kicked out of school for no reason. This is awesome.
you should do a
Check it out.
commercial based on that alone.
The
Get
only
the tool
way
that
to-
got this programmer kicked out of school.
the only way to change what's broken is to shake that shit all the way up.
Yep.
And if the system's broken, if they're doing the same thing for 20 years, it's probably broken anyway. Not having been a programmer, I did go to school for it. I failed out. I'll be honest with you. I hated that shit. It was awful. I spent a year doing it, and I still hate it. I just don't.
Well, my
I
degree's
don't
in.
know.
I fucking hated it too.
I can bang out some nasty Python and some stuff in PowerShell, and that's all you got from me. It's been really useful, but I remember doing object-oriented programming and all that shit. Nah, man, they got all of that. I want no part of it.
I almost dropped out because I got a job at IBM and I had a year and a half left to go in my degree. So I was like, I might as well finish it. So I finished it.
I did. I fell out of that shit and went into security and never looked back. It was the best move I ever made.
Yeah, man, I finished the degree, but I actually went back to school just to get it. Because the job I was at the time, I was a junior network engineer. I was told if I got a degree, they'd bump me to senior, and I could be making like 30 grand more a year. So of course I'm going to go for the college degree that will make that happen. Even though it put me way more in debt, I would have to work at that job for 10 more years, at 30 grand a year to pay back what I owe the college now. But it does show that like when you have the degree, when you have the certifications, the jobs you'll get might be the same freaking job, but it'll pay just a little bit more sometimes.
Yep.
You have more negotiating power.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Personally, for me, regarding the situation with Roy Lee, I don't think he personally did anything wrong. I'm not going to sit here and say that he actually did something wrong, because it's not like he actually cheated and accepted a job offer and was getting onboarded and all this. He was trying to prove that the current way of interviewing people is absolute fucking trash. And he did that very successfully. He made a tool, and although his tool didn't have a disclaimer, the people that chose to cheat. You can't blame him for that. That's like, again, that's like going back to like a penetration testing tool. So just because someone made the tool doesn't mean that they're like at fault for what other people decide to do with the tool.
We could even just juxtapose this with the Silk Road. He made a tool.
Yep.
Yeah.
He did. He made a
That's
tool.
what people wanted.
People used it. It's not Ross's fault.
I'm gonna get Ross on this fucking podcast at some point.
That's what we need. We need to have Ross on. That would be awesome. That would be so.
Dude, we know the people who helped get him out of jail, so
Yeah,
let's
get him
do
on.
it. That would be awesome as hell.
When he starts doing interviews,
I
we
would
gotta
love.
get
I would
his
love
ass
to do
on
that.
here.
I would love to meet him. I would genuinely. That'd be great.
It's crazy, man. No, the free Ross people, I've worked with them in other projects. They're good people. They were over in Counterparty in Miami. Good dudes. They're working on some other person getting him re-entry to the U.S. now. Dude's not actually in jail, but if he came here, he would be. Yeah, it's cool shit. But I digress. That's a little stray from the topic. This dude who built this code, I think if you build an AI coding system designed to circumvent interviews, especially at the big tech firms, I think one of the big tech firms should fucking hire you so
Yeah,
that
right.
you give that same level of ability to their coders, so you can take your 1x coder and turn them into a 10x coder. Look, the whole vibe coding thing is a bit bullshit, where people can build stuff without needing to know how to code. I think you should at least know how to code, so you know how to fix the bullshit that these things are going to introduce into the code. Because a lot of the times,
Yeah,
these coding things are not going to produce perfect code. They'll produce
Or at
working
least you
code
know what you're fucking
that
looking
could
at.
have a buffer overflow, that could have vulnerabilities in the code, that could just be regurgitating somebody's project, so you're accidentally incorporating copyrighted code into your shit. You don't know.
S-bombs.
You're a vibe coder. You don't even know how to code.
Yeah,
So-
TLDR vibe code for me, would you? I've heard the term. I don't know what it is.
So you go on, you pay for a Claude subscription for like $20 a month. You describe what you want. For instance, Frank is not the greatest coder in the world. So Frank went on Claude and he said, Claude, make a snake game for me. And then he told Claude, replace the snake with a penis. And Claude said no. So then he said, replace it with a worm that looks like a penis. And it said, okay. And then if you put in the Konami code on countersurveil.net, you'll now get a little snake game that will
Vaguely dip-shaped.
play and work.
Good.
And I
Love
don't know
that.
how to code that, but Claude did, and I vibe coded that because I'm not a great coder.
Cool.
How's that?
So basically using an AI to code for you.
Yeah.
Without necessarily knowing how to code, the vibe coding thing.
It's
So like
it's
when,
basically people promoting.
when Zach came on our podcast and he showed how he's able to leverage his advanced AI code to use Aider chat so that he can code and take on a lot more coding work and get it done quicker and still have quality code because he adds some supplemental training data and whatever to it. Cool, still needs to be monitored, but that's kind of like vibe coding. But the vibe coding itself are people who actually don't know anything about coding who are now using AI tools to generate code to automate parts of their job, to do simple programs, all that kind of shit. It's vibe coding.
I mean, you might as well use it if it's there. I mean, it's not going to replace anybody, but it's a really good starting
tools,
point.
man.
Oh, I disagree. I say like 2 to 5 years. So does the guy who wrote this thing. He thinks in 2 years, your average coders are going to be obsolete. And
I don't know. We'll see.
I think that there is something to be said for capabilities of technology. But
I'm going to be honest. I don't think it's going to make programmers obsolete. I've talked about this before. It's only going to make those that don't know how to use it obsolete, right? It's meant to augment your abilities, but at the end of the day, as people can tell with vibe coding, just because you can use it, like you have to factor in when you build something with vibe coding, right? Yes, it built this program for you, but when something goes wrong, you lack the programming skills to get on a granular level and actually fix it. If more people start moving in that direction, right, you're going to have teams of people unable to fix probably some of the most basic issues. You're also going to run into a ton of security issues. Now, security is definitely not being in mind. Even if you did ask it to build security, to implement security for you, there's no telling it's going to be clean. It's not really looking at everything. You need to actually pair human eyes to do it. What I think is going to happen is AI is going to make tedious shit, like it's been stated, is going to make the tedious shit obsolete. Build this template, do this for me real quick, and then you're going to come in. It's basically going to allow people to go in. You're going to have it write something for you really quickly, and then you're going to go in, check it, modify it, patch it up, add a little bit of new touches here and there, and clean it up quick, right? That's how you're meant to use it versus typing every single line of code and going over this. Like you basically just check it, and you can control the amounts you do it in, right? You can do it in little portions to make your job easier.
I'm no coder, but I think of it like Twitter Bootstrap. Like you got your template, you go in there, fill out the variables, parameters you want, whatever, and boom, you got a website.
Exactly. You still have to know what you're doing on a granular level. That's how it's meant to be used, right? It's just like using an automated tool for pen testing. It makes the process faster, and it makes it able to. It makes it faster to check whatever you need to. But at the end of the day, it sucks because you need to have an actual pair of human eyes to still check. Hey, was this tool telling me everything correctly? It's your job to check that tool and make sure the tool did something correctly, or whether it gave you the right information.
When I said they suck, I was talking about there's companies out there that do automated pen testing.
Qualys.
Those are really sketchy.
Qualys.
But yeah, like I mean, the reason why I say AI won't replace, because think about it, you have penetration testers using automated tools all the time. but they still have their granular skills. They still have scripting skills. They still have all these little granular ways that they use to check their work.
And
A recent interview I went for, right? They were, and it's really sad. I was only missing like 1 year experience. They wanted 5. I had 4, or like on the books for that. And I was the only one out of all the penetration tester that had like the actual manual experience. Everyone else just knew how to use a tool, and that's it. They didn't understand what the hell they were doing.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then even when it comes to tools, you want to use 2 tools that do the same thing and compare the outputs of each, because sometimes they do things a little bit differently on the back end. On top
And
of doing it manually.
You can actually make your tools more powerful by combining it with your manual granular skills. You can actually make them more powerful. There's many instances of that. You can actually make them you can put them on steroids if you know how to apply all the special custom settings that exist. There's a reason why they exist, right? For you to modify the tool, apply how you want to apply it. It makes it even more effective. When you know what you're doing, even if you didn't know how to do that, right? If you understand how the tools works and you understand how to use it on a very technical level, you will be unstoppable with it. The problem with vibe coding is that people don't even understand the technical aspect of what they're doing. They're just saying, "Oh, hey Siri, build this for me." Of course, I'm going to say Siri's name because I want to take a shot at it.
And we got slop.
Yeah.
We got the new concept now out where it's called, I think, slop squatting, where you take these hallucinogenic libraries that these AIs come up with when they're generating code that don't actually exist, and then registering those libraries and backdooring them is now a thing. So
it's bombs.
This is the part in the episode where I have to remind 2 things. 1, don't use tools you don't understand. And 2, it's always shut the fuck up Friday. Please keep going.
And if you are going to use a tool that you don't understand, use it in an environment where it can't do damage first until you understand how it works well enough that you can use it somewhere else.
That was a big...
Don't use tools you don't understand. But if
Carry
you're
on.
going to learn in a safe environment, that was implied. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. Go ahead.
When Responder was a thing, I think it was about 10 years ago, it was actually causing servers to crash. So if you so much as fucked up any of your configurations, you had to, like, bad shit happen. So you'd have to know what the hell you're doing on that network to run it.
The WPAD one didn't nuke one on a pen test for us, which was kind of funny.
Yeah. That one was confusing. That was crazy.
It was amusing, though. Not for the client, but for me, it was amusing.
I was like, what? Okay.
Wait, we took his network down with a Responder? That's bad. You should probably fix that.
Vulnerability confirmed. And then, like, knowing your tools, right? So you've got CrackMap, NetExec, whatever. On the underlying surface, you need to know what SMB client is, or NetRPC, stuff like that those tools are built around.
I agree, man. It's if you don't understand how your tools work, learn how the hell they work before you're using them in a production environment, especially you're doing a pen test. Like, you could really F up not only your own career and have a need to use your own cybersecurity insurance, which is going to make it a lot harder for you to work again. But you could, like, really cause bad things to happen if you don't know what you're doing. Like, my first pen test, I didn't know what the fuck I was doing. I was kind of thrown in over my head. I was redoing a test that somebody had really effed up, and I went to go do an ARP spoof, and I didn't set the right gateway. I set my local gateway instead of the gateway on their network, and they needed to go into the server room and reboot all the switches to get anybody back online.
Yep.
Rough, buddy.
Oops.
I mean, whoops. We'll call that a finding, but it's not a finding. It's a fuck up, and y'all know it. I mean, most networks would fall for that. It's like, okay. I mean, if you've done this long enough, you know there's stupid shit you can do when you're connected to a network, even over a VPN, that's going to knock everybody else off and fuck it up for people. It's not that hard to cause trouble when you're already given permission to be on the network. And speaking of using tools you don't understand, here is an AI video.
Big tech interviews are brutal. Hours wasted grinding leak code. Then Roy built an AI tool and got offers from Amazon, Meta, and TikTok. Now he might get kicked out of Columbia. AI genius or academic fraud? Click to hear the whole insane story, only on CounterSurveil.
Did you just throw that together?
Yes.
Great. Good. Love that. Fantastic. Good. God. Jesus Christ. Okay. All right. That was good. That was good.
Thank you. Yeah, I have no idea how this fucking thing works under the hood, but I enjoy it.
You definitely should
Whatever.
You definitely should have gone with the anonymous doing it. That would have been funny. They'd like come out and say some shit about it or whatever. That would have been top notch. But that's okay.
Oh yeah. Well, that'll be for the next one, and it won't be under this account then.
That one was funny.
You know what the requirement is to be a member of Anonymous? Is to say that you're anonymous.
That's right.
Wild.
You know, the reason they use those masks is because it was the easiest to get mask.
The
It
cheapest
was in every
one.
store. It was literally you could go get it at freaking Spirit of Halloween.
I guess at the time, yeah, right?
Huh?
Because V for Vendetta had just come out.
Mhm.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Some good
Wild,
shit.
man. Wild.
So, are we going to cover some more stuff? Oh, we got some comments here and here. Yo, AI made her a joke. I asked for a mind map of digital dementia with a rainbow brain as visual element.
Skill issues having.
No shit. Best thrust hunting strategies. Well, I like to thrust all day long while I'm hunting. I'm just thrusting. It returned to black.
Hold on. So best threat hunting strategies to look cool at
there's
work.
so much here. Christ.
KG.
If that's a serious question, I have an answer.
I'm going to give him a hacker's quote here from this one. The best thrust hunting strategies to look cool at work. Right. I hope you don't type like you fuck.
Where do you see
that definitely says threat hunting.
It said thrust.
Best
it did.
threat
hunting. It's changed. It has changed.
No, it depends on the tools you're using and the intel feeds you got.
Yep. Do you have an actual intel feed? Because I just found out I sure as hell don't, which is awesome. Do you know how great not having tips is?
Create a mind map of digital dementia in the real world and add brain icon in the center. I mean, yeah, you can do that. Look, when I make mind maps, because this is one of the stupid things I showed, it's really simple. I just ask, and it's called mark map format, by the way. I didn't know that before. So it's mind map format in Markdown.
It's really cool.
So you just go, hey, ChatGPT, first, like I will take a YouTube video and I'll just get a text copy of the transcript. Then I will take that transcript and upload it to ChatGPT and say, ChatGPT, give me a mark map format of this and put it into a text blob below. Then I take that text blob, I copy it, and I go to the Markdown map website and I paste that shit in there. And then I have a mind map and it shows me the concept visually. It's cool shit. And it works really well, especially for assholes like me who sometimes learn better auditorily, sometimes learn better visually. But when you have both works really well, having like a mind map of the shit I'm looking at really does help me kind of retain information after like watching a long video. So that's what I do.
And it also helps with our episodes to kind of break down by topic.
Oh, I should definitely do mind maps of all our past episodes when I have a little bit of free time.
Pretty sick. There's one of these comments was like, how can Kali Linux be used? Somebody said RTFM, which is read the fucking manual if you don't know that. And then somebody goes, ironically, you could start by watching some TCM videos.
Bravo.
That's good. That's
well
good.
Done. That was beautiful. I'll give you that.
You get some dice.
Yeah, hit me up. I'll send you some dice. I'll do that. Let's see. There's a whole bunch of these. God.
Oh yeah, I missed a bunch of comments here. So
skill issues. It's a squishy raccoon.
Kali Linux be used.
Yeah.
Read the Kali documentation. Yeah. They actually have a free course still on the OffSec website about the basics of Kali. That is like a very elementary level version of what you would get in the OSCP course. You install it and
Yeah.
watch the 99 million videos on it and its tools. Disagree. But how do you OSINT in Kali Linux? Well, that's going to be Recon NG, Google itself, and maybe Maltese.
And how many
Community
API
Edition.
keys you want to pay for?
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
you get all the free API keys from all the shit, and you sign up for it on email. You're never going to use again because they're never going to stop messaging you.
Yeah,
and
make
ask-
trash emails, man. If you're signing up for tools with legitimate emails, you're failing anyway.
Right.
Well, it depends on what you're doing.
Kali. That's accurate. I'm very tall in cyberspace on Twitter. That's excellent. I like Twitter. Man, people spell like I do in these comments. This is great. Average coder, obsolete for sure. Coding requirements, like knowledge, secure and efficient code cannot be done with the doggish that shit that these models are trained on. Yeah. But the thing is, we're not talking about needing secure and efficient code for most people. They just want code that works, that does the thing they need, so they don't have to do the thing over and over again. A lot of people use this shitty code to automate parts of their job they don't like making the same edits to a spreadsheet for the 1,000th time. Well, guess what? Now you can write some code that will take that spreadsheet, pop it open, do the thing you need, take the other cells and put them in there. And next thing you know, you've automated a process that used to take you 3 hours every day. It's what people use it for.
Mm-hmm.
And that shitty Python code that like ChatGPT is going to output there, they might not even understand how the fuck that thing works, but I'll tell you what, they're running that same code every day to do the same fucking task because they don't want to do it. And it's getting more and more popular because things like Python will run in user space without needing to be installed. So people will install it locally. They'll have the ChatGPT generate the code. Hopefully they're not inputting code from like sensitive company information in spreadsheets or uploading to ChatGPT. Yep. That's a whole nother fucking stupid issue. It happened with, yeah, man. Go ahead.
Don't upload sensitive data. Doesn't matter what you're talking about. If it's to ChatGPT or VirusTotal or any of the sandboxes, don't fucking do it. Don't do this.
Yeah, one of our other hosts was saying that he caught some of his analysts straight up uploading alerts to an AI. So
yeah,
that's
they were
straight
literally
up
going at, like to the free tier of ChatGPT, taking a freaking sensitive information, upload it to a GPT on the free tier, which they're gonna just use for training. Was not good, man. I get you want to parse it out because looking at like JSON, looking at whatever XML, whatever the heck you're looking at, if you want to parse it quickly, I get it can find it for you. Some of these companies should probably be setting up local models to do this shit, especially now that we've got local models like DeepSeek that can run on CPU and not be slow as shit. And not that DeepSeek's the best example because that's the same one that had an SQL injection vulnerability on their professional version that released the fact that a bunch of people were uploading company data to it by essentially letting the hackers then download all those questions and the files associated with those questions.
Hugging Face also got hit a while back too.
Hugging Face still has malicious models on there. Look, you got to be careful when you're installing a local model. Like there are ones that are vetted that are pretty good, but it's fairly trivial to backdoor one of these models to make it do things that you really wouldn't want happening on your local computer. So
and a
be
lot
careful
of big
with what you install.
Yep, a lot of big enterprise environments. I'm addressing that question right now. A lot of big enterprise companies, for compliance reasons, are actually doing continuous vulnerability management, and now we're actually getting into the SBOM realm of things, where it's pretty interesting. Like you have to scan DAST, SAST, and then SBOM intel feeds every 72 hours. It's getting pretty tight depending on what policy and regulation you're working with.
Yeah, man. And I still think SOC 2 compliance is a joke, but whatever.
FedRAMP's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, I actually helped with some FedRAMP stuff when it was being developed. I understand. I might be to blame for some of the issues you have with it.
You can't give Havoc any kind of power. If you can't give him dev power, you can't give him certification power, dude. What are we doing?
I take the power myself. It's fine. Don't worry about it. The power is mine.
You just abuse it. Stop it. Quit.
I've never said that I don't. Don't give me root access. I'll get it myself if I need it. Don't worry, it'll be fine.
Don't worry, Mom. I got this. I'll get the cookie jar.
It's fine. It's fine.
You'd be surprised the damage I can do in user land alone. Who needs root?
Hey, so we went past an hour 30. Let's go to 2 hours. One more topic.
Do you have
Okay,
one?
what's the topic?
What's your guys' favorite HR horror story?
They exist.
I'll start.
The end.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll go first. I got 3. I was showing people how to Google dork from the office at IBM in Atlanta, right? So I was showing them how to look at traffic cameras. And then I get a phone call from HR. They're like, why are there 100 IPs coming to your computer from Russia?
Nice.
So that was an interesting one.
Nice.
And then
Wait,
another
they were
one
coming
was
to your computer from Russia?
no, I was connecting to their cameras, whatever I
Ah.
found on Shodan.
Why is HR reaching out to you about that? Wouldn't your SOC do that?
The
unless you are
network team reached out to HR.
SOC? Okay, all right. That's weird.
There used to be a website. It was called like Camera Roulette that literally you
Yes.
just refresh and every time it would be
That
like a
one
new
too. Yep,
Mm.
that was a good
That's
one
great.
too.
Unsecured cameras.
And then another time, my buddy got arrested for. We'll keep that part private, but I bailed him out of jail using my corporate card.
Nice.
Yeah, I
So
worked for a
HR's
really-
like, what is this charge for bail bonds company on your American Express?
Maybe not move, Muggsy.
That's a
I
good
paid
one.
it back. It was
I
just
mean,
funny seeing that in the statement.
Oh shit! I used the wrong one. Whoops. Let me
Yeah.
just here take this money.
So I worked for a company a number of years ago. I actually became friendly with one of the cute HR ladies. We still meet up when I'm in New York. She's pretty fucking awesome. But there was some shady shit going on at this company, and she blew the whistle about it and was subsequently asked to leave. I eventually left this company, not because of that, but because of just them abusing the shit out of me. But the story here is essentially that they were keeping passports, the actual passport, not a copy, of employees that they had come over from India in a safe in an office in the building, and they wouldn't give these people their passports back if they quit.
Oh,
That's
And then
shit.
not
Yeah,
good.
and they were not paying them very well. And also, because they paid them so poorly, not a lot of them could find proper housing. So, to help with that, the owner of the company decided to be so kind to put them up in houses that he owned, 4 people to a bedroom. So, it became a very interesting thing. Yeah.
That sounds like an NSA job in DC. Those people don't get paid enough to afford a house. They have to do group housing.
That's rough,
Yeah.
buddy.
Yeah, man. But that's my most interesting HR story. What's yours, CrowdStrike? I'm sure you've got one.
Pretty sure I've told this story before, but I'll recant. This was, I don't know, maybe a year ago, maybe 6 months, 8 months ago. I was having some of my analysts were doing some were skipping something that was happening. So there was this weird call out to a site that looked weird, and my analysts were skipping it altogether. So I took a deeper look into it because it looked real sketch, and it was some encoded zlib 64 encoded scripts, and I couldn't decode them. I banged out a nasty Python script to do it, and it would my ADR stopped me. So as opposed to going to CyberChef, I took the encoded string and dropped it to myself outside of the environment. Well, I didn't know what it was at the time. Good. So because I don't have the tools, it was ultimately this ended up a fight for tool sets and things. But I was speaking to my manager. I was actually sitting right here when it happened. Fun fact. I was speaking to my manager 5 minutes after this. So I do some digging, figure out what's happening, and approach my boss with it. I'm like, hey, this is what I found. This is what I did. This is how it happened, all this. And a couple of days later, I get investigated by my insider threat team and HR for doing that. It's a great topic. Now, because going back to the web of trust and transparency saved my ass, because I had been honest with my boss about what happened, what I found, how I did it, how exactly what happened. And they approached him about it and was like, hey, this is happening. You need to know. And he's like, oh, yeah, I know exactly what happened. Blah, 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 blah. And it was during an investigation that I had, been extremely, extremely critically descriptive on what happened, how I did it, and had documentation for every bit of it. So that is important. But
CYA always.
Yep. Sometimes you do the right thing or the best way to do the thing, and you'll still get brought up. Somebody will
I wonder how many less organized people have been working entry-level SOC jobs and become the fall guy when something happens and just blamed as an insider threat for doing the same kind of shit.
Yep. Now, ultimately, it was some bad stuff that was happening, and I learned a lot about if you haven't looked up Graph Strike or anything about Microsoft Graph and all that it was some super cool shit, dude. It was the whole thing was super neat, but it was definitely one of my prouder moments and things that I had dug up. But also some it reminded me that my analysts still had work to do, and even today still have work to do. But yeah,
man, I got one more.
Mm-hmm.
I used to work for the Network Operations Center for a data center in Arizona, and we were playing around with chatbots in our personal chats, So we would feed it. It was kind of like before LLMs were a thing, but you could feed it. I can't remember the name of it, but you could have it ingest books and talk to it as if it was a character of the book, because it would take words from the book or whatever you feed it and talk back to you with it. And then we started teaching it to say, submit a ticket, fucker. And then somebody accidentally or on purposely, I don't know, made it public to where when people log into the website and ask a question on our chat, it immediately responded with submit a ticket, fucker.
Oh, no.
And we don't know how long that went until somebody finally complained.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
But did they submit a ticket, fucker?
It probably was a ticket.
That's good.
I wonder what the ticket to clean that up looked like.
Oh, no.
I was gone by then.
Jesus.
I got
Mr.
framed
Corbin
for
will
some
be in touch.
bullshit, so I walked out handing the boss a bottle of whiskey, the one that I liked.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, a nice bottle of Johnny Walker Blue will get you out of some trouble. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I walked out like my last day when I got hired for my first professional job. I walked in with a backpack full of little shots of Makers and then set a big liter of Makers on my favorable boss's desk.
As
Surprised that didn't turn out to be another HR story. He's bringing alcohol into work for everybody. They're getting shit-faced on the job.
So I have a story about this. I think we're past the statute of limitations now, but I won't use names. But at one of my first big adult job, there was a guy. We'll call him Gary, because Gary. Well, no, God, what's his name? The guy from What Is Kid You Know had a song named Gary, called Gary, and it was about a guy who, constantly fucked up his life and, was supposedly trying to get it back together, but couldn't do it and, made mistake after mistake. So this guy reminded me a lot of Gary, and that's the song that I attribute to him, because I attribute songs to people because that's who I am. So Gary was a thorn in my side the entire time I worked with him. Refused to learn anything, self-proclaimed IT guy. I mean, oh my God, I can't tell you all the messes. So
Gotta love those.
I leave the organization, and 6 months after that, they get hit with a cyber attack, and so the help desk, the IT guys that are one tier up above the help desk are conscripted.
Trevor,
The best cockroach.
Trevor Moore. There we go. That's it. Thank you so much. Trevor Moore is the guy, and rest in peace, Trevor. We love you.
Oh, I was talking about the cockroach.
No. We're talking about Trevor Moore from What Is Kid You Know. Anyway, yes, rest in peace, Trevor Moore. So they get hit with a cyber attack, and about 6 months after I leave, and so the IT guys are conscripted to basically end up resetting everybody's passwords and doing all kinds of other stuff because they got their email server got ransomware. This is pre 365 in the cloud. So Gary, from what I hear, is sitting in the tech area and downing 4 Locos at 2 a.m. doing this.
Hell yeah.
They're all working overtime and offers it to underage kids that are working with us. Working with them at the time, and they finally fired him. And God, am I so sad I missed that. I called my old boss. I was like, "Hey, dude, how did this happen without me? Come on. The only person in my entire career where I was like, okay, this dude's just not doing it." And I hope Gary's doing well, but I genuinely don't think he is. I think Gary is just doing Gary things. I digress. Don't drink at work unless, your company doesn't care.
Well, sometimes they don't care.
Hospitals care. Hospitals care. Amazon, I come to find out, doesn't.
I'm not going to say company names, but I've been around somewhere.
I mean, sometimes
they had a beer fridge.
When you get further enough into it, like I got mentioned in lore the other day at my previous organization, my most recent previous organization, Desk Flask, and your boy is very.
Man,
I'm a firm believer of the Desk Flask.
All right, so I got a comment on this comment. Yes, OG 4 Loco. Myself and an old girlfriend chugged 2 of those before going to a carnival and seeing how many flips we could do on the zipper. And we ended up puking together in a trash can after that, and it looked like purple foam. And that was one of those, we're meant to be together moments. Like we're bonding.
Oh, God. Do you have any ridiculous HR stories, Futaba? Or, any...
I don't think I have anything close that compares to the stuff you guys have. I think the only thing I can say from HR is that they complained that I was too ahead on my tasks. So while I was working at Pfizer as their AV technician, I was mostly doing it to get close to their IT team and their cyber division. It's beautiful, but I was working on their tickets, and the weirdest complaint I got in an email, and then I got a phone call for it, was, why are you several days ahead on tickets? Why are you so punctual? like they were really mad that I was because I was so ahead to the point where I could just sit back, have a beer, and just I'm good, and giggle while doing it. And they got so upset that I was ahead on my work. Meanwhile, there was a guy falling asleep in the lounge, getting caught. You had guys disappearing on the clock, and they had to look for them. I'm like, you're upset that I'm doing my job? Like, what? I got in trouble for doing my job. Yes, I got my job. Being too productive. I would get ahead on the tickets like a week in advance, so I could just sit around and run to these rooms, check them, and be lazy, so I can just dissect. The reason why I did it was so I can hang out with their IT team, solve their problems, get close to them, network, and then talk to their cyber team. That was the reason why I did it. So I had other. I wanted to get close to them.
Everybody has their way they got in, man. I get it. I do.
We have to.
And they got so upset.
Okay, finish your story.
It's basically them just getting so damn upset that I was ahead on task. And this wasn't even the first time they complained about it. They got so upset about it every single time. They're like, why is he doing shit in advance? I'm like, some of these shits had executives right at the check. Lost his life. You would want someone to do that, not be a lazy fuck and just sit there and not do it. And also, they had me, some of these rooms, we had to actually redesign the infrastructure for it, right? We had to actually redesign the room, check all the equipment, check all the gear, make sure everything was good. There were even technical problems in the IT level. And we had to do that stuff, and we had to make sure it was done in advance. But they would want us to work on this stuff the very same day or the day before, where something could go wrong. And we had many situations where stuff was going wrong. And something funny,
They got upset that I trained another guy so well to do the exact same thing I was doing, but everything was running smoothly. I never had any floor complaints. The reviews were so positive. They were just getting so salty and so mad. I don't understand why they were so upset about that. You want someone to do their job.
You're correct.
Dude.
And do it
I
well.
got hired. Dude, I got hired to basically... There was this company last year that hired me to basically convert contractors into an internal pen test team. So I laid out the framework for everyone. It only took me like a week. So I redid their pen test reports.
Oh, the ones that said that you cost
everything. Yeah. And then at the end of the day, they stole all of my IP and said they couldn't afford me. And I was like, the whole idea was to hire internal because it's cheaper than contractors. And I'm sitting here like, yeah, you just duped me. Okay.
Wild.
But whatever.
It'd be a shame if something happened to that company nowadays.
Yeah, they're going to go under. They were a fucking shit show. But I wanted to address that Black Hat comment.
Go ahead.
I worked for Black Hat for about 6 years, which was awesome. I loved it. It was cool. Go to the speaker parties, meeting everybody and shit, rubbing suits with all the suits. So it's fun. But I would never pay to go there unless my employer paid me to go or required it. Because I would rather pay to go to DEF CON and meet those sorts of people instead of the suits and spooks at Black Hat.
Yep.
At least the spooks at DEF CON are usually pretty obvious and fun to get drunk with.
Yep.
At Circle Bar.
Working on trying to make sure that I'm trying to get my employer to pay for me to go. If not, I'm just gonna send myself. I don't care.
We're going to put out a fake promo for the Circle Jerk party at the Circle Bar.
I actually haven't been back since we met.
We just have a bunch of jerks around the circle.
Oh my
Call it a
God.
circle jerk.
The CounterSurveil circle jerk. Shit.
So here's my Black Hat story. So I was going to DEF CON one year, and Black Hat was just ending as DEF CON was starting. So I was there a little early. B-Sides was going on, and some of the people I went with brought me up to the hotel room of a hacker who no longer likes me or associates with me, but I was going to call him Sick Rick. And Sick Rick is there making Black Hat badges. He got like the tape for it that year. They were using holographic tape as their kind of security check on the top. And he had bought the same exact tape from some thrift store and was carving out the Black Hat logo onto the little hologram area and then making badges for everybody on his crew. And then they all went, myself included, to Black Hat. One of them was wearing a badge that literally said Kevin Shitdick, and he went up to Kevin Mitnick while wearing it, and nobody called him on that. And then I did not get one of those fancy ones that he had made for everybody. I was getting around with Kevin Mitnick's press agent's card and pretending to be his agent. And then I went up to say hi to Kevin, and Kevin was totally cool and played along, which was awesome. But
did you talk about that in that talk you gave at Wild West Hackin' Fest?
I don't remember, but it will be out next week for those who are interested. I talked to the videographer because I've had his contact information from when I had uploaded one of the videos from Anti-Siphon without permission, and he'd asked me to take it down. So I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, when's my talk coming out? And he was like, actually, it's been fairly random till now, but since you asked, it'll be out next week. Cool. So it'll be out. And we'll see if I talked about it. Dude, I literally winged a lot of it because you have what's on your slides and what's in your head. And then when you get up there, you forget everything and just do your best.
It looked like, based on the videos I saw, it looked like you had a shitty time slot. Everybody was still asleep.
Dude, it was 10 a.m. and a lot of people who I met at that conference actually showed up. Like, the room was not empty. There were a lot of people in there for a 10 a.m. talk, and the 11 a.m. talk was not as well.
3 separate friends that were in that room sent me videos. So
yeah, it was well. I think I socialized well too. Like, I went to the 303 meetup at the bar. I met some really cool people. I wanted to meet fucking Pyro. You keep saying you're gonna have him on the podcast. He's still
down. He's still down.
But Jimmy introduced me to a whole bunch of cool fucking people, man. Jimmy's
He was
fucking
supposed
awesome.
to come on last night, but he got stuck in Chicago for some reason.
We didn't do anything last night.
Well, we were going to, possibly.
Well.
We also
Yeah,
had
yesterday was Ham Radio Day, so we were going to talk about that.
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
Wouldn't that be a lucky thing?
That's Pyro. Oh no, Pyro, Lucky,
Pyro,
and
Ratman
Strut.
maybe. Just not Lucky and Strut on the same cast. Otherwise, we'd watch fucking the whole cast go on fire.
Yeah.
Kevin Dave fit in my
mouth.
Rest in peace, big dog. That's
Dude,
funny.
I
Probably
had
his
some
business card
Kevin.
fell apart so easily.
Hey, I've still got one that's not in pieces.
Wait, you really do?
I do.
Man,
Save that shit
tore
because
all
it's gonna
mine
be worth nothing
apart.
someday.
Yeah, you could sell that for shit. Who knows? NSA tore all of mine apart. I had like fucking 3 of them.
Womp womp.
Womp
Yeah,
womp.
I've got one. The ones that I use that I have to in the event that I need them. I've got one from Tool. I actually have like 3 of them from Tool, but the International Organization of Lock Pickers or whatever.
Open
TOL.
organization of lockpickers. Get us
There you
just
go.
right.
That's it. Thank you.
I was a member in the New York City chapter for a while with my buddy Click, who ran it, and
they've got one that's akin to Mitnick's card, and it works fairly well in my experience.
We should actually have one of those Tool guys on. I'm friends with one out of Arizona.
yeah, there's a lot of them.
He does the village.
I'm
in
I'm
Vegas
still
every
waiting
now
on
and
Lock
then.
Picking Lawyer, dude.
We've got like 9 of them in our freaking InfoSec articles chat.
Yo, crowd strong. We actually probably could get
Waiting for
Lock
Lock Picking
here.
Lawyer, my guy. That's
could.
where I'm at.
We probably could.
Click is friends with Lockpicking Lawyer. We could ask him to make an
Sledge
intro.
is too.
Yeah, I am too. Yeah, we could probably get him on here.
So now we got 2 people who know LPL. We should get his ass on the show.
All I'm saying is that's one of those I'd kill for. Let's do this.
It's like you can pick your friends and you can pick your nose, but you can't pick a lock that Lockpicking Lawyer can pick.
Oh, that's actually a great idea. I'll start making the connects tonight or tomorrow.
Dude, shoot, you have his phone number, I'm sure. Just shoot him a text message.
Oh yeah, I've got his address.
There you go. Shoot him a text message. Hell, I'll make him some dice. Let's do this. I will make him some dice. Oh man.
But dude, some of the cool things that I liked about Black Hat though was sneaking into parties. So, like, the parties themselves were subpar, whatever. We're not going in there to actually like party. We like the free drinks, but it's so loud you can't have conversations, and that's why we're there. So we'd sneak in, get drunk, walk out, and then go have conversations with a like fucking armload of drinks. And so us as working for Black Hat, we had our badges. We could walk into the party. So we get through, and then there was a curtain. I think this was for the Rapid 7 party. And I would put my badges in the pocket of my coat and tell the bouncer to hand it to, quote unquote, my girlfriend sitting outside. She would take it, put the coat on, distribute the badges amongst her friends, and would keep doing that over and over again until all of the crew was inside.
Dope. Dope.
Well, you've gone your extra half an hour, and now we're at the 2 hours and 7 minutes mark.
Well, all of my other personal plans shit the bed, so I don't care what we do.
There was a shooting about a quarter mile from me. So all I'm saying is I'm
Yeah, you just gotta point the camera at your window and go strap up.
Dude, when I lived in Vegas, I lived across the most ghetto 7-Eleven that got robbed all the time. I was like, I gotta set up a fucking video feed of this shit and just get paid, because people would probably pay to watch this stupidity, but I never did.
One of those domains you never use.
I've got a few. Fishyourmom.com. And you go there, and for some reason, there's the video feed of a 7-Eleven, and you're like, what the fuck is this?
They're fishing your mom.
Hey, I need to check. Back in the day when the new TLDs dropped, I had your mom party.
Do you still have it? You either die or live long enough to become the villain. Oh no. I hope that's not me.
It's definitely me.
They ain't dying today. Not if I can help it.
Who the fuck is that?
I don't know. No BS bodybuilding guy's been commenting a lot. He seems cool. He claims he knows everybody. Good for him. I like to know nobody.
Yeah,
Nobody knows me, and I know nobody.
Somebody else said something about him being big in the security space.
Is he? Good for him. Is he big in the bodybuilding space? Because
I can only assume. Let's see.
For a minute, I saw no BS bodybuilding. I'm like, is that like David Kennedy's trainer? But no, it's not.
That'd be hilarious.
Built to laugh said, "You are a legend in the cyberspace." No idea who that guy is.
Built to laugh said that, huh?
Who's
a legend?
Apparently,
I should have two alts come in and just stroke each other's egos.
There you go. That's it. Yep. That would be funny.
It's been done before.
Man, you're such a legend. No, man, you're such a legend. No, man, you are such a legend. That'd be fun.
Have you heard about recursion? Yeah, recursion.
Yeah. For instance, when I do shit like this and fake that people are making comments there.
Why not offer all the things? That's funny.
It's fun times. So I'm out of shit to talk about. You're out of shit to talk about. And I want to go upstairs and play video games and smoke pot. So I'm going to go do that.
Sounds like a party.
I mean, drink, because that's allowed.
You're drinking
5 years from now, I'm going to be going on a job interview, and they're going to play me this clip back. And
in the state that you're in, it's legal. It's fine.
Actually,
no, he's drinking from the pot.
My brother in Christ. You weren't supposed to say that. You were supposed to roll with it.
So look, I have a card. It's legal. It's just like if you go for a federal job, it's still not illegal. It's still not cool for like Fed jobs.
Maybe just don't go for a Fed job.
They don't like the green hackers, the green hats.
Yeah, just don't go for a federal job. That was real simple.
Well, I don't think that was ever really on the table given my background. But it would be nice to have a security clearance, but they'd be fucking retarded to give me one. So
you don't want one anyways.
I mean, maybe I've already got one. Who knows?
I did prove that.
Undercover brother over here.
Jesus, that's a whole other episode. Is do you want a security clearance or not? It comes with the pros and cons.
Reporter when you need him.
That's right. I would have him on for that.
Reporter when you need him.
He was the reason I did not get my TS.
He's paid to make sure people like you don't get their TS.
No, he told me. He set out the grand rules of what you have to do and do not do for a clearance, and I'm sitting here like, fuck, man. Not. Yeah, I was like, nah, I don't want it.
How many of your neighbors are willing to write letters of recommendation about how awesome you are?
I have actually had to do this for somebody. I have had to meet.
I did too.
Agents for somebody else.
Yep.
Actually, a couple people now.
I did just.
And I'm sitting here thinking to myself, how the fuck am I the guy that they're sending? But they're sending me. How am I the guy that they get sent these people? But that's what happens.
I was a reference for a guy, and I made sure everything was cool and all, but I called him back, and I was like, "Yeah, I told him you're a Russian spy. You fucking hate the government. Yada yada yada." He was freaking out.
Great. Oh,
I've given Sledge references that have gotten him jobs.
Sledge
and I didn't even use GPT to write them.
Sledge has also gotten, I think you're at 50 people now, jobs, right? 51, 2. How many? 51. Okay, cool.
So Delta is sending me randoms lately, being like, this guy got laid off. Can you help him? And it's like, I got no pull at my own company, let alone to get somebody a job. I can give them advice that might get them hired. Outside of that, I don't know why he keeps sending me people. I don't know what the hell I'm going to do with them. Maybe I'll send them to Sledge, and then Sledge will string them along for a while.
Yeah.
And then he'll take credit for it.
Yeah. Usually, my ear's usually pretty close to the ground, so I know about all the openings, and I can be like, okay, Go over there. Go over there. Go over there.
recruiting
I know
buddies.
somebody over there. I know this manager here. I know this guy. I know this guy. Here.
I've got some recruiter buddies that are always looking for folks in security. So like, send them my way. Fuck it.
It's like I can't guarantee you anything, but I'll throw your ring in the bucket and see what happens. And if you need training, tutoring, be upfront with that. I can help in my free time.
Apparently,
I saw this article a while back that the NSA had a hiring thing where they had hired more transgender people than on average for a federal agency, and people were bitching about this. And I was like, I guess that's what the TSSCI stands for.
Apparently, I'm going to have a new best friend at DEF CON. Neat.
You are. You're gonna have this no BS bodybuilding guy. He's gonna be your best friend.
So.
As Sledge and I are working first shift gooning.
Yeah, I'm not gooning this year.
Sledge and hammer.
I haven't been.
It's like razor and blade.
I haven't been to DEF CON since I met you, Sledge. So I'm going to go and enjoy it. I might do that next year. Sounds like fun.
You should come, man. You should come and hang, and we can go to Circle Bar.
I mean,
and
we gotta do the circle jerk
again. They can take my
go...
ID again, and then Sledge can be fucking with the TVs as I'm waiting to get my ID back.
What it sounds like is I need to make some kind of 3D print that's like this exclusive CounterSurveil circle jerk print that you can only get if you come to the circle jerk or whatever. At the
That'd be the gayest thing you could do if you could make a hammer that would match up and like insert into Sledge's hammer, and then we'd have matching hammers that would go together. It'd be super gay. It'd be like the Super Friends. Form a bucket.
No, we put it on the dick butts. We put the CounterSurveil logo on the dick butts, and that's now the circle jerk.
I was gonna say that, but still. A sledgehammer giving birth to a little hammer.
Oh no!
Oh, that'd be fun. No. I put it on a dick butt just for the lulls.
The hammer on the dick butt. There we go.
No, out of the dick butt, instead of a keyboard coming out the ass, you have a sledgehammer coming out the ass. There you go.
Damn it!
I bet we could probably describe that to one of those 3D modeling softwares. Just have it make it for us.
We already have a dick butt from another project. All we have to do is modify it. It's fine.
Ah, yes, modify the dick butt.
Yeah,
I heard you don't want to modify dick butts too much, though.
Yeah, we've already got a dick butt from something we did before the podcast.
Dude, I was blown away when I was volunteering at SummerCon one year, and this dude who worked for, I think it was Silence, came up to me and gave me a dick butt pin with the keyboard, and they told me about threat butt, and then I found the PQ
threat butt map.
I was like, that is so cool.
Do you have one of those dick butts floating around, Sledge?
Yes, I think.
I think dick butts are old news. I think the Dickosaurus Rexes are the new news.
Oh,
God. We should have a Dickosaurus Rex that instead of hands has dick butts coming out.
It's in my other office, damn it.
Shame on you, dude.
You have two offices in the same house. There's too many offices.
You did give most of that box to that one band.
Well, yeah, they're all gone now. I gave them all away.
Rest in peace.
But
hey,
look,
that big one though is in music videos now.
Yeah, yes, it is, and a couple of those have traveled all over the planet, which is pretty based.
It's fucking cool. He tags me in all of them.
It is pretty sick. Not gonna lie. Those dudes are cool as hell. 15 out of 10 would party with again.
Hell yeah.
Fuck yeah. All right.
Oh wait. So before we kill us, shout out to Fight From Within. Check that band out. That's who we're talking about. They're sporting our dick butts.
Yeah, gang. Love those guys.
All right. All righty.
Futaba, thank you for your time. Futaba, thank you for your time. Excuse me. Futaba, thank you for your fucking time. Thank you for coming out and hanging out with us and giving us the.
I just saw like the thing cut. I was like, wait, was he?
I was trying to thank you.
He's a little
coming and
trigger
hanging out
happy.
with us, giving us some information on what was going on with the TCM stuff. And somebody cut me off. Thanks.
He's a little trigger happy to go play with his pots and plants.
Yeah, I'm actually really happy that I was able to talk about this on the podcast. Like, I just really needed to talk about it. The article, like I mentioned, is going to be up by either later tonight or tomorrow. I have to make sure I triple check my work because I don't want there being this one typo where they're like read the whole 4-page article. Like, yo, you left a typo here. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna smack the shit out of someone. I hate it when people do that. They'll read the whole fucking article. They'll say, I loved it. But they'll just say, oh, there was this one typo. Like, bro, I'm gonna smack the shit out of you. Oh my
I'm
God.
gonna criticize your grammar, so you need to go back and rewrite it.
It sucks when
Oh my
one little
God.
typo, one little grammar issue changes the entire interpretation of the sentence that you write too. So you got to make sure that's correct.
It's despicable. And it's really hurtful when someone just reads this. Like, you read a 5-page essay, you loved it. You were like, yo, I would marry this shit. And you're like, but you got this typo here. I'm like, damn. Damn. Like, it hurt my feelings. I'm like, and
That's funny.
But yeah, it was good. It was good coming on the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for your time, man. We appreciate
It was good
you.
having you. And if you want, we can also post that article when you finish it up on CounterSurveil.net if you want to have us posted for you too. So
send us the
Yeah.
links.
Alrighty. So
hold on.
All right.
Last,
Oh my God.
last question of the night. Which state in the U.S. would you guys prefer to live stream in full time if you had the option? I'm gonna
live in full time.
Well, folks, it's been another episode.
Motherfucker.
Twice. He said, what state would you prefer to live in full time? He's asking you where you want to live. You had to live somewhere.
Live or live stream?
It says live in.
Oh, live in. Oh, I'm going to say Georgia, obviously.
That's because you're from Georgia.
No, I'm not.
Well, yeah, you're originally from whatever
New Mexico,
the fuck, Colorado or some shit.
Arizona, now Georgia. Georgia's my favorite state.
You moved around more than me, which is fairly impressive.
Honest to God, yeah, I mean, this island is in Georgia. I got to say Georgia too, man. I don't care for the state, honestly. It's not the greatest place in the world. The summers are god awful, but I do love this place, so I can't be mad about it.
I'm a New Yorker natively, so New York for me. If it were affordable again, which it's not.
Same for me. I like living in New York. It's really convenient. It's just like you said, the cost of living is just absolutely garbage. I mean, I still live here, and I would still choose to live here. But if I had to live somewhere else more affordable,
North Georgia, man.
I'm not really sure.
Outside of the summers, Georgia's not terrible.
I mean, I got a 6,000 square foot house on an acre, 1.2 acres for $235. But all right, let's call it. Hit the button.
Well, folks, it's been another episode of CounterSurveil, where we own the surveillance game and keep your privacy from getting owned. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this episode, like and subscribe to both Iron Geek and the CounterSurveil Archive YouTube channels and leave us a comment. We don't take sponsorship money and we cannot be bought. It's like sending us a care package, but without the risk of it being interdicted by the feds and backdoored. Don't get caught in the honeypot. Stay safe out there. Keep your scripts tight, never hack from your house. And always assume your comms are compromised and you're in an assumed breach.
Settings all together, we decode it all. Breaches, flash breeze, hell, Dante's fortress, none can control. Believe, girls take flight, in a false shines bright. Sludge and havoc, pinches pros. Don't she say she ain't at work, she knows. Monkey spiders, her skills she shows. Crop short shield, our defense grows.